Yeah, yeah.
We're live, so be careful about what you talk about.
We are live.
Live,
And I'm going
my
dark.
friend.
See you guys for a couple minutes.
The Panthers have traded up with the Seattle Seahawks now, and they are picking number 37 in the draft, and we will know who they picked shortly.
Join us live. Adding that to boom, boom, boom.
You know, I'm going to warn you guys listening in now. I'm going to warn you. If we traded up to pick Will Greer, I'm going to die of laughter. I'm going to cackle and howl and die.
Oh no. My brother just texted me and said, "There you go." I'm not sure if he's still at the draft or not.
I mean, never mind. Could someone freaking report what it is? Jesus.
Yeah, as soon as you know, let me know so I can tell Walker because he's writing the pick article.
No, I know who it is. It's Greg Little.
Is it really?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out what the compensation is.
Thank you for telling me who it is so I could let Walker know.
I'm looking. Oh my god. Someone please tell me.
Are you sure it's Greg Little?
I'm 100% positive.
Uh-huh. Steve Reed just reported it.
Well,
So we're good there, but no one knows what they traded up with. The Panthers traded pick 47 and pick 77.
Seriously?
Field Yates.
what?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We
What did we give
traded our next two picks to move up.
Yep.
Oh my god. I mean, I get 47 because we had to swap second rounders. Like that makes sense, but 77 is a steep price.
Hold on. Are you sure? Someone's saying it's 100.
Field Yates is saying it. I don't know.
Hi guys, like the pick?
I love the pick. I don't know if I like the trade.
Dude, that is awful.
Okay, well, instant analysis of this is I love the selection of Greg Little. I think it's a very good pick. He's a true left tackle. We need at least a left or right tackle so we can keep Cam Newton safe. Depending on what the trade is, I don't know if I like that or not.
I already don't like the trade. But
Field Yates is reporting that we gave up the 77th pick as well.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, they gave it up. I'm looking at the ESPN.
So the Panthers traded up to grab Greg Little, offensive tackle.
Oh my god, no.
Billy, not a fan.
Seahawks received pick 30 or traded pick 37 for 47 and 77.
Yep.
Oh my god.
They have,
Oh my
and
god.
Steve Reed is coming in as
Oh
well
my
and
god.
saying they have one more third-round pick, which is 100 overall. So, yep, I would say it's pretty much confirmed that they traded away their second-round pick and their next third-round pick. So, all they have left is the compensatory selection.
Oh, well, that's the important one anyway.
Welp.
I mean, so let's dive into this. Obviously, we're mad about the compensation here, but Greg Little seems like he'll be the starting offensive tackle on the left side day one, and they were targeting him in round one. Billy, you were big on that yesterday. So, I mean, obviously the compensation sucks, but they ended up with Brian Burns and Greg Little when they might have only ended up with Greg Little. So, I mean, it's not all bad, right? Right?
Since Billy isn't talking, the trade value chart that we all know is gospel. The 37th pick is 530 points. The Panthers, the 47th pick and the 77th pick are 635. So 105 points larger, like 20% larger.
I really wish they would have traded the number 100 pick.
Would have probably been a better idea. I'm guessing that
I
Seattle
legit
wouldn't take it.
feel like how Giants fans felt after they traded Daniel Jones.
It's not
No,
that bad.
I'm not that bad. I'm pretty pissed though.
No, it's not the best play in the board, but
It's a classic Marty Herney move.
it is.
Well, they got an offensive tackle and they got a defensive lineman, so they did need that. I mean, I'm not 100% happy with the trade either, but I'm trying to be, a little optimistic here.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion summed up in one quick, easy sentence, Twitter format. I hate the trade, but I love the pick. I hate giving up the 77th overall pick to move up 10 spots to get an offensive lineman, but I like Greg Little, and I think he's going to be a good choice. I just wish we could have either traded number 100 or even one of our lower, like, 4th round picks. But, I mean, you have to pay to play. So I get it, but I also, that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Same.
77? Like, even on the trade value chart, like, Jacksonville gave up a 4th and got a 4th back with Oakland for moving up a few spots. And, oh, my God. And I thought, like, it's only 10 spots in the 2nd round.
So I want to respond to Tony H. He said we must have really liked Little. Apparently, Little was in consideration at 16 yesterday. So the Panthers did value him. I guess they wanted to make sure they got him. So,
I mean, they probably would have taken him yesterday if Brian Burns was off the board.
yeah, that's where I'm kind of hung up on. Like, I get that they just gave up more draft capital, which they obviously need for like other positions, but they did manage to lock in like 1A and 1B, I guess is the best way to put it.
The worst part about this is we have to wait forever before the Panthers pick again.
Yes. We have to go from 37 to 100 now. That's a long time.
That's 2 entire rounds of the draft.
Yes.
I may not be here the whole time. I'm gonna try.
I don't think we're gonna.
No, we're not going to go live the whole time. No.
Let's see. What time was the 100th pick made last year?
Game time,
And
baby. Only time I know.
18.
Buffalo just traded up to take Cody Ford, so we might have had to make this move if we wanted to get a tackle.
Yeah, that is true.
The Bills gave up like a 6th round pick. Let's see.
I mean,
All right.
honestly, if you think about it, the Bills might have been the ones that were fighting with us to
That
trade
might,
up.
yeah, the Bills might be why we had to give up 77. They might
Because-
have wanted to move up where we were to get Cody Ford, or they might have wanted Greg Little, and they settled for Cody Ford.
Yeah, like I honestly think what happened was the Bills offered something where it's like we couldn't get by with the 2nd round pick and the 100th, so we had to move up. We had to give them more. Because that happens a lot in like the middle rounds for like teams. There's multiple trades on the board, especially in the 2nd round nowadays.
Oh, I gotta leave.
Bye, Billy.
Deuces.
JDS.
I'll be right back. No, I just gotta use the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see you. See you later.
JDS asked if we liked Little better than Ford.
I like them equally. To be honest.
my thing is that Ford is like the guy where he would play multiple positions. Like he could play center, guard, and tackle. Where Little seems like he's going to be the guy where he's slated to play left tackle for the Panthers. So I kind of like Little a little more, but I don't really. I said Little again.
I agree with you. I like Little more because he's a true left tackle, and I know a lot of people disagree with this take, but I don't think Taylor Moton is a true left tackle. I think he's a right tackle that's playing left tackle. That played it for one game, and I think Cody Ford's strong point is his versatility, and I think both of those are strong assets, but I think I like Greg Little a little bit more.
And-
I did it too because he's a true left tackle.
Tony H just made up a good point. Evans took over for Ford at left tackle at Oklahoma, so it wasn't even like he was the best left tackle on the team at that point. So, I mean, like, if you're looking for your left tackle, which I think they were, like with Dillard, if they didn't get Brian Burns, I think that this is a nice consolation prize, and I think that since they had Little as a first round rated prospect, I understand moving up for it, especially if you're fighting with Buffalo for it too.
All right.
So
I'm back.
I'm not
Yeah.
happy that they traded away the next pick, but I would say I'd rather them have done it than Buffalo.
Just for,
Yeah.
by the way, for perspective, for expectation, last year the 100th pick was made right at 11 o'clock. 2 years ago, the 11th pick was made at like 11:30.
Oh God, that's a long ass time.
We're gonna have to wait 3.5 to 4 hours to make
So-
our next pick.
Yeah, so that's not happening.
Marty and
Yeah.
Ron need to go get a bite to eat or something.
And
Speaking of a bite to eat, please don't mind me. I'm going to be eating tater tots.
I'll be eating my leftover pizza from last night at some point during this as well, probably.
Stephen Jones asks, "What's the best thing going forward for the Panthers?" I'm not really sure what he's asking. Is it about the draft, maybe? But I'll answer both ways. Going forward, I mean, they've addressed two big needs, and obviously they think Greg Little addresses the left tackle position, and obviously Brian Burns was a big thing for the pass rush. So that's good. I mean, it seems like they're balancing their team out a little bit. As far as the draft goes, I mean, like, I would say the best case scenario is they walk away with a starting safety or not even a starting safety, but one that can, compete with Rashawn Golden / Colin Jones / Denoris Searcy at free safety. But Billy, what are your thoughts on this pick? I know you're not happy about the trade, but
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless. And I'm just like, I don't get.
well, what do you think about, like, if they were competing with Buffalo for this?
I mean,
Because that's what it seems like based on the way that what happened the very next pick.
They don't have to, like. Here's a problem. Like, they're going out and they're using the media to report all this stuff about how they wanted, like, a certain player. Like, there was leaks by certain individuals last night how they wanted Little. That's how I found out, obviously, that Little was in consideration. And they're going to spin this. I guarantee they're going to spin it. As soon as they get on their press conference in a minute here, they're going to spin it and be like, we had Little rated very highly. Like, we feel like we're getting a first-round talent. That's fine, but that's not how you play the draft board. Like, you just have to, like, be patient and let, like, players fall to you. And I get that Ford was still available. Or, excuse me, he went a pick later. But just look at what Buffalo gave up. I mean, I know they're not going that high up, but it just feels like a classic overreaction, and he's only bidding against himself.
Separating the trade that you seem to be a little, you don't know if you like it or not. What do you think of Greg Little, the player?
I mean, he's a really good pass blocker. He's a good player. I don't think that he's the best run defender right now. I mean, he has some issues with his strength, and I think that his technical deficiencies can be sorted out in some ways. I mean, I wouldn't have taken him that high at 16. I would have been a little annoyed. I feel like the upside is not that great either. I think that he has the chance to be like a Michael Orr type player, which, I mean, take that for whatever it is, but that's kind of like the same type of talent I see with him. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I'm just trying to.
Michael Orr was fine when he was here as our left tackle. If we get a second-round pick that could contribute for any substantial length of time, I think that's a win based on our past history. And really, if we're being honest, any draft pick that contributes significantly at any level is a hit, because there's a lot that just never even like make a contribution at all.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the pick. Like I said, I never liked trading up, but whatever, it happened. So
Yeah, like I've said, I'm fine with the pick. I actually love the pick. I'm glad I'm glad we picked Greg Little. I just wish the trade would have been different. And in our Slack chat, Eric makes a good point. If Greg Little turns out to be our franchise left tackle, this doesn't matter in 5 years, in 10 years. We gave up a third round pick to get a franchise cornerstone tackle, then it's fine. The only concern is if he turns out to not be very good.
and then Marty Herney gets another blemish on his second round record
Yeah.
and trade up record.
And Daniel, one of our other members of our Slack group, says, yeah, if he would have been he would have been gone by 47, and that is absolutely true. There's no way Greg Little would have lasted that long. Who else would we have taken at 47 and 77 that would add up to equal value of a true franchise left tackle? Is that possible? And if
No,
it's not,
but that's
then
not-
we win the trade.
No, I get your logic. I don't see it that way for me. It's not about the opportunity cost of who you select at 47 and 77. It's just the assets it took to get there for one player while you're giving yourself 2 more bites at the apple, essentially. And I get it. Like, if they had him graded higher, it's one thing. I don't think Marty Herney is like this oracle on draft prospects, especially at the left tackle position. Like, he should not be given the benefit of the doubt that because he traded up, that this player will suddenly turn into be a good player. Like, I like him too, but there's obviously like a very good chance that he could turn out to be a bust, which makes this trade up even worse. And that's why I'm always against, using assets, within the first 3 rounds to trade up, because there's just too much risk involved. Unless you're trading for a franchise QB, that's the only situation where it'd be different. But
I like how teams choose draft pick announcers who all have like TV experience. Like, make sure you get a guy who knows how to get up on a podium. I know that's completely irrelevant to what you guys are just talking about, but Charles Woodson just took the stage.
Completely unrelated question, but what do you guys dip your tater tots in?
Like, are you talking about like the little tater tots I think that you would get at?
Yeah, like frozen tater tots, like what you'd get like at Sonic.
Just ketchup.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I dip them in ketchup sometimes, but I'm probably gonna like lose some credibility in my giving a real Panthers fan shit about dipping steak in mayonnaise, because I dip my tater tots in ranch dressing.
I don't like ranch dressing, like, at all. So
If you don't like ranch, obviously you wouldn't like it. But if you do like
Really?
ranch, tater tots and ranch is really good.
I'll keep that
Tony
in mind.
H says ketchup, sweet chili sauce, and mayo chup.
Like all together.
Sweet chili sauce, actually. All that together or separately?
I'll keep that in mind. By the way, Brad, if I ever start to like ranch, then I'll.
Yeah,
I'll try the tater tots.
I don't know if I can trust somebody who doesn't like ranch, but
We've had this conversation many times. I have eclectic tastes.
yeah, obviously. Tony does it separately, by the way.
No. You just like one tater tot and ketchup, and then like one in the.
You got like 3 little bowls
Yeah.
with different dipping sauces.
And then you, like somebody pulls.
Go
away from
all
your meal
out
and
for
you're
your
like,
tater tots.
Shit, I forgot which one I dipped in last. I'm all out of whack. I can't remember what's up and what's down.
Have you ever had ketchup and sriracha? Yes, I have had ketchup and sriracha.
Not bad combo. Not a bad combo.
Not a bad combo at all.
You guys like ketchup and mayonnaise, right?
Yeah, mayo chup.
Yeah, and you add a little garlic
Yeah.
in it. It's so good.
Yeah. What's really good with mayonnaise is sriracha.
I remember when I was in like middle school or elementary school or something, that was all the rage. Like everybody would mix mayonnaise and hot sauce or sriracha or
Yeah,
whatever they
nothing-
add.
Nothing wrong with ranch on tater tots. My favorite for tots is a mix of ranch and hot sauce. Stephen Colbert.
The one and only Stephen
The
Colbert.
one and only Stephen Colbert.
It's probably Stephen Colbert.
It's Colbert, but I like to call him Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Heinz sells mayo chup, and there is a sriracha mayo now. I don't buy mayo chup because I just make it myself.
Yeah, I've only made it twice.
I do enjoy the mayo chup. I will say that it's not bad.
I had it at a restaurant one time, and I was like, oh, this is really good. If you get like quesadillas and you just dip the chicken quesadillas in it. So then I've made it at home a couple times. So yeah, I'm not gonna bother buying the Heinz mayo chup because I don't think I'd use it enough to warrant buying a big bottle of it. It's not exactly like a main staple of your meals. Just some old condiment talk during the.
Stephen Colbert
During the
says it's Bert like Bert and Ernie, and I'm not French.
There's nothing wrong with having French last names.
Nope.
No.
Oh, is Smith French?
Says Mr. DeLong.
Yeah, it is French. Is Smith French?
No. I don't think
I mean,
so.
My name would be pronounced Bevers Louis in French.
Bevers Louis.
What is Beversluis? Is that
It's
a real
Dutch.
language? Okay.
Dutch.
Dutch. Yeah.
It's
makes
Dutch
sense.
it's Dutch for asshole.
I don't think that's correct.
Sounds right.
So pissed right now.
Tony H says, I am Tony Touch 99 on CSR. I figured that out, but for anybody else.
Stephen Colbert is
Stephen
Auburn
Colbert
Panthers
is Auburn Panthers fan. I knew that because I know everything about everybody on CSR because I can hack into your information.
Yeah,
Whoa, bro. Whoa.
address lookups. Just see just
Yeah.
Google's your IP
Like
address.
I know where
finds
all
exactly
of
where
you live. Like I've got cameras on all of you. Tony, your bedroom light needs to be changed. What do you think about
His light bulb.
Stidham? I think if they can get him in the 5th round, they probably should.
Are you excited for Will Greer to be taken?
I
at
cannot wait. Actually, I hope we trade the rest of our picks to get up to like 50 and take Will Greer. That would make my night.
Yep.
Dude, do you really want me to kill myself?
No, I don't, Billy, but
Billy, you're an important member of the team, and you're contractually obligated to not kill yourself.
No, but like it's gonna be funny when the people in my mentions who are like going to like life or death to defend Marty Herney right now are gonna defend that proposition they trade up, like future like 1st round pick to trade back in the 2nd round for Will Greer.
He'll be there in the 5th round. Don't worry. It's fine.
Gary Pinckney says, who am I? I honestly do not know.
It's got to be Quar.
You don't have to yell into the mic. That's what the mic is for.
What?
The guy on the stage right now is like yelling. into the
Oh,
mic.
I thought you were talking to me and Brian. I was like, what
No,
the
no.
hell?
No, I'm talking to Al up here.
Oh.
we
Gary,
talked
you
about
got me. I have no idea who you are.
That guy looks like he's from a one gaslight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take Amani
Yeah.
Hoover. I'd take Amani Hooker or Thompson from Bama.
At 100, if Hooker or Thompson from Bama are there, do you take him? If that is Adderley and Thornhill are gone, 100%.
Is Hooker related to Malik Hooker from a couple years ago?
I would imagine so. Hooker's not a common last name.
Just so happened to have 2 people named Hooker that played defensive. He's a defensive back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. we have 2
Adderley
players
and
named-
Thornhill will be gone at 100, by the way.
This is a good pick for the Broncos, Dalton Risner.
Yeah, that dude's going to be good.
local
He's a good
person, too.
guy, too.
And he's local.
Gary Pinckney is Bringo.
Oh, I know
with
him
an
because he was
exclamation
nice
mark.
because he was excited
Yeah.
for the show.
He was
He's a nice
excited for
guy.
the show. Yeah, we like you.
We'll take all the good publicity we can get if you like us.
Yeah.
You're our favorites.
We like being told we're funny.
Yeah, you get a free pass. You're not going to get banned no matter what you do. I shouldn't say that.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say you can't really rule that out. You could say something abhorrently racist tomorrow.
Bringo comes in and is like, oh, I got a free pass. So I got some wildly anti-Semitic takes I've been waiting to get off in here.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to start dropping hard N and hard R words.
Doesn't matter. Got the free pass in the live live Google. Our hands are tied. Sorry. Can't ban him.
We gave him immunity. That was our bad.
That was our bad.
And that's how CSR met its downfall.
Mhm.
Just let our egos get the best of us.
There are quite
It's
a
because
few
we're
egos.
apathetic.
Yep.
We're apathetic and negative, and I'm controlling and a socialist communist dictator who keeps everyone under my iron thumb. And I have a mouthful of tater tots. I'm sorry, but I just had to get all this out.
It's an organic show where you
Yeah,
can eat.
and
I'm contractually
I've
obligated.
ruined CSR.
I'm contractually obligated to say that Brad with tater tots in his mouth sounds great. And if you talk shit on him, I might have to ban you.
Brad will ban you himself, like the ruthless dictator that he is.
Yep, he rules with an iron fist.
Oh, you guys should see him behind the scenes.
Good lord.
Gary is using his immunity wisely. His sandwich takes will not be controlled.
I think a quarterback's about to go off here.
Will Greer? The Panthers trade back up? Is that what you're talking about?
Who traded up?
No, nobody traded up. I was kidding.
No. I thought because he said it. The quarterbacks. Oh, it's the Broncos.
It's the
still.
Broncos. Yep. They still got Joe Flacco.
Oh man,
so.
their fans are gonna be so excited if they pick Drew Lock. Because I was. But I'm like,
they almost have to take Drew Lock, don't they? Because they've had like every other clone of Drew Lock.
no, I was on Mile High Report one time, and I can't remember. And just like all throughout the comments was like, oh, then we can get Drew Lock at 9 or whatever. And I'm like, really? That's the guy you guys are all hitching your wagon to? At their first pick, and if they get him with their third pick of
Oh
draft?
wow! I don't know if this got talked about, but Max Simpson tweeted at around pick 21 last night. The Panthers started making phone calls to try to get back into the first round to trade up for Greg Little.
Wow.
So we should be happy that they only traded what they did to move up to where they did, because it would have cost a lot more.
Yeah, that's a Marty Herney trade a future first round pick for a current first round pick, all over it, written all over it.
Thank God those teams had the logic to tell him no.
Really, probably a bad move on their part, for being honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if I'm a general manager, if any team calls me, says like, "Hey, you looking to move back?" I'm like, "What's your offer?" Like, I would always entertain the offer, unless I'm picking like top 3 or top 5 or something, and there's a guy that I'm absolutely certain is going to be. Well, you're never absolutely certain, but you know what I mean. If it's like
If
Andrew Luck type,
Yeah, if you have the
player.
number 1 pick and like Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Cam, a guy like that is in the draft, you don't trade no matter what. Unless somebody comes in like Mike Ditka did and offers you the entire draft for Ricky Williams or something. Like that's the only scenario where you trade. But any other thing, like if I'm picking 15th and somebody says, "Hey, we want to move up from 28 to 15, what do you want?" I would at least listen.
Oh, for sure, because it's like we talk about, and obviously you have to have some sort of confidence in your ability to evaluate talent, but you also need to be self-aware enough to know that like nobody's ever been like, "Oh yeah, I nail every single pick I make." I never.
That's exactly what I'm saying, John.
Yeah, so it's like you need to give yourself more swings because you know you're gonna miss some.
And that's my point. It's just like, I don't know.
Denver did take Drew Lock.
Checking on Mile High Report. No, they legitimately wanted him. Like they're probably legitimately happy because they thought they were going to take him with. They thought they were going to take him with their first round pick.
Oh, of course, they're over the moon that they got him at 42 overall.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not that bad in the second round.
No, it's not that bad. I don't think he'll be that good. I think he'll just be like the next Joe Flacco. But
I don't even think he'll be that good. I think he's going to be the next Case Keenum.
You just got to love those tall white quarterbacks who can kind of throw. Those are the
Daniel Jones types.
Yep.
Man, the Daniel Jones stuff is just like the gift that keeps on giving today.
Yeah. I just loved when I asked my mom about it. She was like, "Oh, he seems good." Like
He seems like a nice guy.
She's never heard of him, and I'm like, "Okay."
I told you guys, like my friend that's a Giants fan was like, "Bro, what are we doing?" And then she's like, "I didn't watch the draft, but there's no way that was the best option available." And then we talked for a few more texts, and I was like, I mentioned Dwayne Haskins, and she's like, "Dwayne Haskins was still there?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, he was there for a while." after you guys took.
Yep. In fact, he went to one of your division rivals.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, what a mess, what a train wreck.
Indeed. Glad that Dave Gettleman's not our GM anymore. I enjoyed him while he was here. I mean, like, I loved every time we got to see pictures of him scouting film with his Wii, but like
No phrasing.
his Wii Nintendo console.
You almost made me choke on a tater tot.
he was using a Wii remote to actually watch film. This is a true thing. That was Dave Gettleman.
It is a true story.
He is the greatest meme the Carolina Panthers have ever had, and I'm glad he's gone.
I have a take.
You know,
I am fully getting into apathetic mode. I'm not getting into apathetic mode with this team. I'm getting into hate because some of their decisions just drives me insane.
Oh, they don't. They make some bad decisions. No arguing that.
But Billy,
But I will always
still have
root
Torrey
for the team
Smith.
because
Oh my god, dude!
and they
like, how are-
they re-signed Daryl Williams too. They re-signed Daryl Williams despite having Torrey Smith.
Oh
I mean,
my
like,
god! I knew
what's
it.
not to love?
you know, real quick though, I think Dave Gettleman has wrote the book on like how to keep your job while being incompetent at it. If you just say enough really like catchy quotes that people can latch to, it makes you sound really smart and people will like revere you. Like the hog mollies and I'd rather have a quarter than 2 dimes and you can't teach 6'5", 240, like all that stuff. It really, I think, buys you some extra time as a general manager.
6'5", 240. You can't teach that.
You really can't. I mean, he's got a point.
He's not wrong.
Oh my God.
Jelani Tavai.
Ron Rivera repeating that left tackle will still be a competition.
Well, you have to say
Why the fucking shit would you trade up for one, though? I mean, I know he can't just say, hey, Greg Little is the starting left tackle. I'm sorry, Taylor Moton and Daryl Williams, you have to fight to the death to be right tackle. I know he can't just say that out loud, but come on.
I mean, you have to remember that they expect Daryl Williams to play left tackle.
Realistically, though, Little should start at left tackle. Hear that staff is impressed. Oh, this is just getting worse and worse. Staff is impressed with the potential of Moton at left guard.
What?
While Williams is the most comfortable at right tackle. So I guess that means we're going to keep a tight end over there with him to help him block because he can't do it without a tight end. Why not keep Moton at right tackle where he's good and put Williams at left guard because he's only going to be here for 1 year?
You don't know that. They could re-sign him to an extension.
They could do that, but if they did, then figure it out. But why do they keep making bad choices?
I like I said, you guys, this has gotten to the point where like I just hate them.
Yeah, this can't be that hard. Like
It's
drafting
not.
players
It's
can't
not
be that
hard at all.
Like I legitimately might hate them more than the 2016 Broncos.
So I'm just going to say one thing that I think we should all be measured about. We should take what he's saying with a grain of salt right now because you.
Oh,
don't
I know
wanna
he's
throw,
full of shit because he doesn't
You
want to
don't-
just throw
You
anybody
don't
under
want
the
to
bus.
exactly. You don't
No,
want to
but
throw.
come on, John. Excuse me, Brian. You could
I was
totally.
gonna say, what did I do?
No, I'm saying you could totally 100% see Greg Little not starting for like the first 6 to 8 weeks until there's an injury.
I could, but at the same time, like they just re-signed Daryl Williams, so I wouldn't expect them to be like, we're going to start Greg Little at left tackle and start Taylor Moton at right tackle and just throw Daryl Williams under the bus. That's all I'm saying. Like, let's just calm down. Let's relax for a minute. Like, it's not all over. They might make the right call here. I'm not saying they will, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt here because right now they've addressed 2 major needs that they were clearly going after. So let's just.
They do. I do think they deserve some credit for, being self-aware and be like, Our pass rush sucks. Let's get some pass rush. Our offensive line is held together with scotch tape. Let's address the offensive line and addressing those issues instead of like taking a defensive tackle or a linebacker or something.
Right. And like you don't want to like say Greg Little is going to be starting at left tackle week 1 because that doesn't give Daryl Williams any motivation. It also makes you look like a fucking idiot for re-signing him.
It also puts a lot of pressure
No,
on
it doesn't
Greg.
make you look like an idiot for re-signing Daryl Williams to 1 year, $6 million because you need depth. I mean, you've got to have guys because our medical staff is like a bunch of people that watched a YouTube video on how to stitch a suture or some shit and called themselves a doctor. Like we have people get hurt all the time. So
I have to share this, my favorite quote I've ever seen about teams' medical staff. The Giants, I don't know if he's still there. Their like lead athletic trainer had been there since 1946.
Jesus.
And this Tyler I am on Twitter was like, imagine being the lead athletic trainer for 76 years. Dude's out there still trying to heal a torn ACL with a stick of butter.
yeah, and a leech.
Yeah. But also, if you like pronounce Greg Little the starter, and then he isn't ready, it's a lot of pressure.
Disaster. Yeah,
It's a lot of pressure on Greg Little. It's a lot of pressure. Like you kind of you get your hands are tied if he's not ready for whatever reason. So you kind of have to. You can't be committal. Like commit to him one way or the other when he hasn't gone to camp yet. Like
yeah, I mean, I get what Ron's saying as far as Little. There's going to be competition for left tackle. I get that part. The part I'm having a problem processing is we're going to take a guy who was a stud at right tackle all
that part's a
year.
problem.
And I know the counter argument is that Daryl Williams was an all-pro right tackle and PFF loves him, but they leave out the fact that we had to put a blocking tight end over there with him. But Moton is over at right tackle. Why move him to left guard? Like, why do that? Just keep him at right tackle. Let Greg Little compete with Daryl Williams at left tackle. Let the winner take the job. The loser is the backup swing tackle that can be put anywhere. And, keep Greg Van Roten at left guard or put Daryl Williams at left guard. You don't have to move your best right tackle just to make Daryl Williams feel comfortable. Like, that's what bad teams do.
You know what's funny? Daryl Williams playing right tackle while frequently having tight end help makes him functionally like a guard.
Exactly. And the other thing that's being left out that we haven't even really talked about yet is Daryl Williams. We don't even know if he's going to be able to walk. I mean,
he'll be fine.
He tore his knee. I mean,
it was just his MCL. Though.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's an unknown. And we have a known quantity that Taylor Moton is a good right tackle. And I just don't understand the thought process behind taking that known and making it an unknown. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, they could have traded up to take Jawan Taylor.
Yeah, they could have.
I mean, I'd rather just not even think about that. Like here's the problem though. Like they also worked out and brought in other offensive tackles. So I'm just not sure why you're so fixated on one guy. Like doesn't make sense to me. And like here's
what football guys do.
Here's another scenario. Is like what if they took like an actual like guard and just played that guard at left guard, and then I could stomach Moton at the left side for a year and then Williams on the right. Like it's not the worst thing in the world. I just think that it's a better alternative than what they just all the assets are, handing out to other teams.
I will say, if left tackles are as hard to define as everybody says they are, and they think Greg Little can be a left tackle, I don't blame them for going out of their way to try to get him. I mean, they gave up too much. There's no changing that, but we don't need to keep harping on that. But I do understand the idea. Like if we have any intention of being good in the coming years, it's supposed to be hard to find left tackles in the draft in the later half of it.
Yeah, and again, like I'm gonna just hammer on the fact that like they wanted to take him in the first round, so they think highly of him. Like I know that there's pause when it comes to this scouting staff's competency, but they did have him as somebody they might have taken in the first round. So
Ooh,
I'm
Marty Herney's great at first round picks, right?
Yeah.
If he thought Greg Little was a first round pick, does that mean Greg Little is a first round pick that we took in the second round?
Possibly.
Makes
Yeah,
me
like
think.
I've said, I don't hate the pick. I don't hate Greg Little being on the team. I think he's great. I just think we overpaid for him. But
I
you know,
would go as far as saying he's great. He's good, but
I think he's good enough to start for a decade at left tackle, and you don't have to worry about it again for another 8 years to 10 years. Like he's potentially Jordan Gross. Like he's not Hall of Fame left tackle.
isn't Jordan
But-
Gross a Hall of Fame left tackle though?
No. Jordan Gross is Hall of very good left tackle.
Okay, all right.
I think Greg Little is that. And I think that if he turns into that, then trading what we traded, we won't care 3 years from now.
Voth apparently tweeted, according to JDS 16, that Herney might think Little was the best left tackle in the draft.
yeah, and that's scary.
Is it though?
I mean, I think so. Like, out of all the left tackles, like Jonah Williams and Andre Dillard, and
Well, Jonah Williams was gone, so he
no, but was Brian's question not like he thinks Herney?
Well, okay. I mean, does he mean best as in the literal best, or best as in the best that we could get? Like he's better than Dillard, he's better than Juwan Taylor, he's better than any of these other left tackles, like or tackles. Does he mean literally the best?
Well, let
Or
me
the-
find the tweet real quick.
Yeah, or the best of what we could have.
I feel like that's always kind of skewed towards the best that we could have because
I think so
they
too.
probably
I
don't
think
spend they probably don't spend much time evaluating guys that have little to no chance of making it to them.
Yeah, I don't think that Jonah Williams was even in his mind when he said Greg Little is the best tackle in this draft class.
Like
I think there's no
we
point.
badly needed we badly needed pass rushing obviously, and we didn't even like entertain a meeting with the number one pass rusher like Josh Allen or Joey or Nick Bosa or anything,
So
Yeah.
here's what Marty Herney, or here's what Bill Voth said about Marty Herney. Marty Herney has played this entire offseason with patience. Got aggressive tonight to land what he believes is the best left tackle available.
Okay, so
So
available.
available is the key word. That's
No,
the key word.
no, I mean,
I agree with that take. He was the best left tackle available because I think Jonah
how many-
Williams
hold
is
on,
better, but he
Well-
wasn't available.
But how many other left tackles were available? Because Jaywan Taylor and Cody Ford are not left tackles; they're right tackles or guards.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
right.
It's not like you're really making a huge point there by saying.
I see what you're saying. It's like I can say that I'm the tallest man in my current location because I'm the only one.
Exactly.
Oh, same.
Greg Little does say that he is excited about showing that he is the best tackle in the draft, and he is looking forward to keeping Cam Newton safe.
I mean, he better. If
Yeah.
you give up all that much for him.
Wow.
I don't mean to sound like too harsh, but
So the Texans have the 54th and 55th pick. I
Yeah.
would really like to have 2 picks in a row.
I mean, unfortunately, when your GM is Marty Herney, that's impossible.
Not true. Not true. Not true. We had 2 picks in a row. Whatever year we took Frank Alexander and Joe Adams.
Oh God, yes. And we screwed up both of them.
Frank Alexander was all right until he couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Failing
Frank
drug tests.
Alexander. Yeah, Frank Alexander couldn't stop sampling botany.
Joe Adams, though.
Joe
that punt
Adams
return he
was,
had
that
against
was a
Tennessee?
bad pick.
But that punt return against Tennessee, though, you remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm always surprised with how well Jim Brown has aged. considering he was a running back in the 50s and 60s, where they basically didn't wear helmets.
I have something very important to share. Apparently, Greg Little is a big Spider-Man fan, just like Brian Burns.
Oh, I'm sensing a theme.
Spider-Man is awesome. Is there a player in the draft named Peter Parker? If there
Everybody-
is, we better be on the lookout.
Get to digging. Find all the other Spider-Man fans in the draft.
Look, man, Little better be good, man. I'm just.
I
Still,
think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be bad. The Browns took Greedy Williams, and that is the best name in the draft other than Rock Ya-Sin. I
also
would
think it's
love
that
to
is
have
a-
a corner named Greedy. We talked about this
Man, that
earlier,
is
but we weren't
a-
live yet.
That is a lethal defensive back combination with him and Denzel
Yeah,
Ward.
the Browns are
man.
going to be good.
That's real good.
They got greedy, if you know what I mean.
You're so clever. I would never would have thought of that joke.
Should hire me for a commentating job.
Yeah, you do need a job.
Hey, I have a fine job. All right,
It's not this one.
that's true.
Let's see. Because we're in a lull here, I'm going to go back to Twitter and answer some of our Twitter questions. If I can find them, because a lot has happened. Okay.
I don't see a lot of Twitter questions.
There's not a lot. So I'm going to answer them all. Why hasn't Brian been fired yet? He clearly violated the no spoilers policy. Because I need him.
Aw,
Wow.
thanks,
That's
buddy.
a very smart question. That guy, very smart guy. Which lower division player will the Panthers draft? Probably a running back from like the Vermont Institute of Communications or something. I honestly don't know. I haven't scouted any lower division players.
who did they just
um,
draft?
Who, Seattle?
The Browns took Greedy Williams.
The Browns took Greedy Williams, and Seattle just picked somebody. I don't know who that is.
That's Cody Ford walking. Why is I thought he got picked by Buffalo.
Cody Ford did get picked by Buffalo.
So why is he?
They're replaying it, I guess.
Maybe the Seahawks picked him too. Maybe maybe the Bills picked him as a tackle, and the Seahawks picked him as a guard. Yeah, they're just replaying him going to the Bills for some reason. Maybe he wasn't available. I don't know.
Yeah, he might not. Like maybe he wasn't in the green room or
Maybe he
whatever.
was taking a shit or something. I don't know.
Well, wasn't there someone who was
What
they were
is
like
happening?
they were not at the draft, but they were like across the street or they were down the street or something. And when they got announced, they like ran over to Radio City
It
Music Hall.
Could
to
have
get-
been, yeah, that could have been him.
Well, I remember it wasn't this year, but I feel like I've heard that story before.
Greg Little is going to wear number 74, by the way.
Did they say what number Brian Burns is going to?
No, they haven't. He's got to wear either 90 or 96 unless he wants to wear a number in the 50s.
I guess since he's linebacker, he could do that.
Yeah.
He could wear. Wait, if he's a linebacker, he could wear something in the 40s too.
That'd be pretty cool.
Um,
But like I was saying last
Did-
night, 90. You can't take 90, obviously, especially the year after Peppers retires. And 96 is just not a cool number for a pass rushing defensive end / linebacker.
yeah,
That's like
I mean,
a perfect
he's-
number for West Horton. Like your run of the mill rotational run stuffing defensive end. Like that's who gets number 96.
yeah, he's going to have to trade with somebody. I don't know what number to give him, but like 91 or 95 or
Yeah.
something like that. Because you can't have number 90.
No.
Let's see. Did we get better yesterday? Yes, I believe we did. We improved our pass rush. Now, I kind of would say no if you would have asked me this question tomorrow because I think we traded too many assets to get a tackle. But as taking this as it was asked, basically, yes, getting Brian Burns made us better.
I think getting Greg Little makes us better too. We might have sacrificed too much,
I think we
To improve in
sacrificed
that.
too much, but I do think we got better.
which is the goal, I guess. We might not maximize it, but the goal is always to get better. And if we got better, we can't be terribly upset. Like there are teams that so far that I'm reading around the internet whose fans think they haven't gotten any better yet, which is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Like the Raiders, for example, as bad as they were, I feel like they didn't get a whole lot better with their three first round
Yeah.
picks.
No,
Am I wrong for thinking
no,
that?
not at all. This one is irrelevant now, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Mhm.
If Carolina takes a quarterback over an offensive lineman tonight, will that seal the fate of the Rivera-Hurney era in Carolina for you? It would have.
Who just Brad? Was that you just tweeted with the CSR account to me,
No.
Brian?
Wasn't me.
Of course you'd say that.
Uh-oh. CSR
No.
handler.
Hold on, let me go look and see what was said.
I'll say I have no idea.
He's defending the trade.
That was not me either. No, Matt, it wasn't about that. If Lil becomes an all-pro, no one will remember. That could have been Eric.
Could have been Eric.
Yeah.
Eric likes the trade, so it could have been him.
Yeah, well, I respectfully.
And disrespectfully disagree. You should man up and disrespectfully disagree.
Yeah, you go right ahead and disrespectfully disagree with Eric.
That's the problem. We have too many fucking people on this handle. Jesus. But yeah, that definitely was not me. I would not have tweeted that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm actually just about to delete it, to be honest.
That's a weird thing to say with the
What?
CSR handle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair devil's advocate take. You know, we don't have to all.
Yeah. I
As
mean,
much as
yeah,
Brad would
y'all
like us
all
to, we don't
have
have to all
to
be in
agree with
lockstep.
me, and yeah,
No, I agree. I'm already seeing people like respond to it, so I'm just going to mute the conversation so it doesn't really explode my mentions.
I'm deleting the tweet.
Oh, the poor Eric.
Nah, it wasn't a tweet I would have shared with Cat Scratch Reader.
We're very picky
I'm
about
not
those.
going to use the CSR handle to argue shit like that.
I get you. You're not here to argue, like
No, I'll use my own.
CSR handles
I'll use my own handle to argue shit like that.
yeah.
Like,
Brian, one thing about Brian, and probably one of the reasons I haven't fired him, is because he will use his personal handle to argue shit.
Yeah, I try to do that too with at the Hive. Like someone wants to argue, and I have to switch accounts and search for
like
the
the
tweet.
CSR
and
handle is not
digging and start
Who
fighting.
does the Seahawks say? Marquise Blair? Wow, that's high.
the CSR handle is not meant to be like used to argue points with people. It's meant to like make a few snooty jokes or like post some memes or like just fuck with people in general and share, obviously CSR news, but it's not a handle I want to use to argue draft
Yeah.
picks with people. Like it's not worth that. We have too many devout followers.
That's a good point.
Like I get that we have like some power behind our tweets because we have like 12,000 followers, but that's not what the CSR handle is for.
Yeah.
So yeah, for anybody listening from this point forward, whoever uses the handle, I will delete your tweets if you tweet like that.
For all of you fans that have been trying to tweet.
For
from
all
the
you
CSR
fans who have
Yeah.
been hacking our account,
For everybody
I
who
will
tries to
delete
hack
them.
our account, Brian will delete you.
yep, and
you,
your mother.
the human being, you will delete. you.
Yes.
Thank you, Arctic Cat. That's what we try to be: is informational, educational. Sometimes we troll a little bit. I will admit that, but I do try to keep the CSR handle as neutral as possible.
Okay, Daniel Camp. Okay, someone just asked a question on CSR. Can teams trade comp picks? 100% yes, they can.
Yeah, that started a few years ago.
That started a couple of years ago, up until I think it was 2016, I believe.
Hmm.
They could not be traded, but now they can.
I have to answer Arctic Cat's next thing because he mentioned there goes hacking and posting LOL cat photos. No, that was 100% me.
Yeah,
That was April
we
Fool's
did that.
Day. In fact, a year ago, I also switched handles with the Falcoholic and tweeted about the Falcons. So April 1st, all bets are off. We're going to have fun with it. But I'm not going to argue with some guy on Twitter about what the Panthers should or should not have done with their draft picks.
Going back to the previous question, why did the NFL ever think it was necessary to bar teams from trading comp picks?
Because they're
I don't
compensatory.
But they're picks.
Yeah. It's not like they like stopped the draft. Like, all right, we now entered the compensatory selection phase of the draft, which is completely different. It's just they just keep on chugging along. Honestly, by like the 5th and 6th rounds, I don't even know what picks are regular picks and what picks are comp picks at that point.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark as to what the original logic was, and the original logic to me might have been that they didn't want teams to be able to use those to trade up super far, but at the same time, like, they're not really all that valuable now for like draft capital as far as like being able to move up into the first round or something like that.
Well, yeah,
Maybe that's my shot in the dark take with that. So
I get it. It would make more like that would make more sense if like the value of the actual pick was tethered to the value of the player, which I know it is, but like the very best you're going to get is essentially a 4th round pick, no matter how like for your franchise player that signed somewhere else. So that's not like helping you with anything.
I agree. No, that was again.
No, I agree that that's probably something along those lines.
Yeah, just to you have to use this pick to try and get somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you lost a player, you have to pick a new player to replace him with this pick.
Yeah. And I think the NFL figured out a long time ago. Well, I shouldn't say a long time ago, but along the way, that's probably not going to replace that player you lost. So maybe you should be able to use it for whatever the hell you want. I mean, the Patriots
That's
did
my thing. Like, you're not like personal opinions about him aside. The number whatever pick in the draft next year isn't going to replace Devin Funchess. Like, he's already gone.
Yeah.
So it's a completely separate thing. So we should be able to do whatever we want.
Right, and like there are times where like you get the Antonio Browns in the 5th or 6th rounds, but that's very few and far between. So expecting you to replace that player with somebody that you really have no idea how they're going to work out in the NFL doesn't make a lot of sense. But I do understand the logic behind it before that. It's stupid, and I'm glad that they changed it, but I understand it in like a fundamental way.
Also, like Brad kind of was alluding to, like the player, like the compensatory picks that you get, like you've already are over a year separated from the time you actually last had that player.
Yeah, like we lost a starting left guard who was an all-pro, and we got the number 100 pick in the draft. That's not a fair trade. It's not a fair trade. We should be able to use that pick for whatever we want to do with it, whether that's take a running back from a directional school in North Dakota or trade it to move up higher in the draft to get somebody else. We should be allowed to do either of those things.
Right. I agree. No, 100%.
It's also
Definitely.
like almost 14 months since Andrew Norrell signed with someone else before we got to use the compensatory pick we got for losing him.
Thank you, Lee Blackman. Glad you joined us.
Yeah, have a good night. Missing all of the fun with picks 49 through 100.
Yeah, for those of you listening, we're definitely not staying on for that pick, but we're just having some fun. I agree, Daniel Camp.
God damn it! The Colts just took one of my favorite players.
I'm so
Sorry,
sorry.
But a second round compensatory selection would be cool. I mean, like I feel like it would kind of like mess with the vibe of the draft, since like the first and second rounds are the rounds where you really get the best players. So like you'd be taking away from.
It would have to be like extraordinary, like very rarely given. If like
if a team got Russell Wilson and signed him to a 3-year, $90 million contract, like Kirk Cousins would be a good example. I think that would be one where like a second round compensatory selection might be necessary, just because he signed
Yeah.
a quarterback resetting contract. But
Or
other
like
than
when
that,
like when Mario Williams signed away from Houston,
yeah.
where you
Yeah,
like
with
a
Buffalo, they signed him for like six years, $109 billion
something,
or whatever it
something
was.
extreme for the time period, yeah. Where like that, you're losing a franchise defensive end, like that might be worth a pick between
And
the
at a
second and third round.
price that's absurd too.
Yeah, that's
I
like
agree.
prohibitive. That like nobody. It's very hard to compete with the price. Like
Right.
it's not like the NBA where they have max contracts. Like if a team could offer a player a $70 million a year contract if they have the cap space for it, and teams would be
Jesus
like,
Christ.
can't do anything about that. Oh, just you wait for this quarterback bubble to burst.
Yeah, well, the CBA coming up soon. I think that'll nip that in the bud, but we'll see. So,
I don't know though. I don't know how it could. Because I don't think the NFL, with the way they have like the hard cap structure, like I don't think there's any way that they're going to put a cap on individual contracts. And as long as quarterbacks are as important as they are, teams are going to give up way too much money to keep paying them.
right. Agreed.
If I'm an NFL team, though, I try to do. I feel like the Kirk Cousins deals should become more common for quarterbacks.
Yes.
Like, see if you can get them for a little bit less per year, but guarantee all of it, so they get more guaranteed money. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Like, Cam's a bad example right now because of the injuries, but say like it's 2015 Cam. Like, why wouldn't you sign Cam for like 5 years and then give him like an entire like $100 million guaranteed?
Absolutely.
It might be like
It would have,
$5 million a year less, but
in
the guaranteed
retrospect,
money's, like,
it would have
double.
been a disaster considering he's been injured so much since then because we haven't had an offensive line. But yeah, I mean, I would have done that in 2015.
Yeah. Yeah. Not using the benefit of hindsight. Man, they're a big fan of this Vikings guy on ESPN. I don't know if you guys are watching ESPN.
I don't even know who it is. NFL Network hasn't said.
No, it's just like it's a Vikings fan with a bunch of tattoos. Like he has like an NFL field tattoo.
So he looks like a literal Viking?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it yesterday, like preference over ESPN and NFL. I have to watch ESPN because that's what I grew up watching, and it's just like I can't break away from it.
I can't do it because I can't watch Kuiper and McShay. I can't do it.
I've grown to like their banter because they're like legitimately friends. So I kind of like the banter at this point. I did find it very grating before.
We have 2 questions I'd like to address real quick. Daniel Camp asked, are we drafting Will Grier at 100? And I would say that's not outside the realm of possibility.
If he's there, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like you see what I mean. You see what I mean, guys? Like when I'm talking about like losing all these assets.
What?
Just relax, buddy. It's fine.
Tell him to calm down, Brian.
Just calm down. You're being completely irrational.
Go into your bag of tricks, Brian. Pull out the trademark.
All right, guys. I'm gonna remember this chat and every single person who hounded me tonight when.
Oh my God, Ron Rivera did not say this. At 7:45 p.m., which apparently would have been right after we made the trade and took Greg Little, he said, at worst, this gives us depth at tackle. You don't say that right after you traded up to get a guy. Like, that's dumb.
Not to like overly harp on the Dave Gettleman thing, but that's like Dave Gettleman saying, yeah, we just drafted a quarterback at 6 who may sit for the majority of his rookie contract.
That was the most like nihilistic thing I've ever heard Gettleman say. He's like, I could get hit by a car tomorrow.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. Hang on, let me get those quotes.
So, while
Billy needs to finish his thing he was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Billy. Go ahead.
No, I want to see this tweet. Who tweeted this, Brad?
Who tweeted what?
About Rivera giving tackle at worst.
I want to say it was Marcel Louis Jacques. Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, while we're waiting on that, I'm going to address the question by Arctic Cat. Who would be better, left guard Roten or left guard Larson? I would say Roten because he played damn near every snap last year.
Yeah. Roten has to start.
No, okay. So here's what I'm going to say, because everyone just wants to kill me for not liking it, and there's going to be a scenario where the team is going to be in a big hole at safety or at linebacker or at interior defensive line, and they're going to like start tweeting curse words at people like Dontari Poe or at Denoris Cersei or Rashawn Golden during the year, and I'm going to come back to this moment because they traded up for a swing tackle instead of keeping their picks and drafting a guy they could have had at 77. That's all I'm going to say, because I could already envision it. I can see like Alvin Kamara breaking like a 40-yard run and everyone just losing their heads and blaming certain people.
Right.
I agree with that. I like I said, I agree with you all the way that it was a bad idea to trade up. It's done.
Can't do much about it now.
Yep.
I mean, you could trade down from 100 and try to pick up some more value, but I think they're turning into Gettleman over there, where they're not going to trade down at all.
They better not. I don't want them to trade down purely for the fact that I don't want to wait for the next 4 hours and then it's not pick.
Well, no, I mean, if they trade down from the third round, from 100, they're going to pick tomorrow. So
Exactly. Like they won't pick tonight after us watching for hours.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
It's a selfish reason entirely. It's nothing to do with the team building aspect of things.
I can't find the quotes. Maybe it's here.
Is it wrong of me to kind of like roll my eyes a little bit? Like I understand it's a cool gesture, but because it's the NFL that's doing it, I can't help but feel like it's just like publicity stunts.
Oh, it's absolutely a publicity stunt. Okay, here we go. He was asked, if you think Eli can play multiple more seasons, does this end the possibility here? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Maybe we're going to be the Green Bay model, where Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. Who knows? You can never have too many good players at one position. You actually can. You can have 12 good quarterbacks. That's too many. Another reporter, did you just say you drafted a quarterback at number 6 and he might sit for 3 years? Which, keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers was drafted 24th, I think. Gettleman, who knows? I may go out there in my car and get hit. You don't know. We drafted a quarterback that we think is a franchise quarterback. That's really the long and short of it. Reporter, if you think Eli can play for 3 more years, wouldn't you take someone at number 6 to help Eli do that? Gettleman, it's the same question that was already asked. We don't know. Life is too short. You don't know how this is going to work. So again, there are people drafting defensive tackles when they already have 2 stud defensive tackles. Why are you doing that? Because it's where the value meets the draft pick.
Wow.
He
That's
pulled
so-
out, I could
used
get hit
himself-
by a car tomorrow as logic to draft Daniel Jones.
I also like how he used himself drafting Vernon Butler as an example of other GMs
Yes.
drafting.
Yes, he was absolutely talking about when he drafted Vernon
So-
Butler.
So unbelievably obtuse. I love it. He's the greatest GM in the planet, on the planet, for real. Like
In the planet, on the planet, anywhere in the vicinity of the planet.
in the universe. Just
The other thing about the Packers model, like, you don't,
Brett
plan-
Favre was still in his fucking prime.
but you don't plan to replicate like an exception, you know? Like that's an exception in modern times where a guy sat behind an established starter for multiple years and then came in and lit the league on fire. And also, Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers if he sat 3 years or sat 0 years. Like Aaron Rodgers is
Exactly.
just good at football.
Put him out there.
So I don't know.
Eli is 40 years old and terrible. I mean, Daniel Jones at least has a chance to be good. You know?
Gotta love
Does
that
he?
stealing.
I also love that they've drafted the Senior Bowl, like a quarterback out of the Senior Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah, they've drafted the Senior Bowl
Only-
MVP the last 3 years.
And only two of them were Gettleman,
Yeah.
so don't give them too much flack for that. But that's
Yeah.
still funny that they're like that's just like the place to go to draft a
Put your
quarterback.
money
is just
down on
draft
the
a
Senior Bowl MVP next year going to the Giants.
That would be hilarious.
I think we
Eli's still the
found.
starter.
I think we found a real Panthers fan in our chat here. As long as they eat steak and mayo, I don't care who we draft in the third.
I don't think we're gonna have anybody in the third round to do that.
I mean,
We're not gonna have a third round pick.
Well, number 100
fits
is
the criteria.
technically a third round pick.
No, I'm saying just nobody fits the criteria.
Yeah.
so
A real
Eric
looking
Eric
for.
just said, I can almost guarantee you, Lil does not start game 1 at left tackle,
He's right.
and he was like, I think Dan said they're gonna put Moton at left guard because Jordan Rodriguez said that, and then Eric was like, I believe that would be a mistake, but typical fucking Ron.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I know people get a little irritated with the not
I don't care about
pessimism, but like
that much. I'm just mad, and I just want to vent. And that's why I'm like getting more upset.
Are you mad? Like, I can't tell.
I've had better days.
but I know people get irritated that at times we can be a little like pessimistic or about the state of the Panthers, but it's hard to like.
Yeah, you
We're
know
not
what?
gonna blindly support everything they do if it
I'm
doesn't
gonna-
make
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a little mini rant here about that because I hear
Sorry,
that
guys,
all.
that I started this.
It's okay. I hear
Apologize
this
to
all the
listeners.
time. I'm going to actually be calm and reasonable. I hear this all the time. You're too negative. The site moderators are too negative now. It's been this way since James DeTore left. We don't do the Monday Morning Optimist anymore. We don't root for the Panthers anymore. We don't support them anymore. Okay. Number
Brad,
one,
just relax.
I am relaxed.
Just calm
Num-
down.
I am calm. Number one, James left like 6 years ago. Okay. I like James. He is a very personal and close friend of mine. He's gone. He writes for the mothership now at SB Nation. He's not coming back through that door. At least not now. I mean, they might fire me tomorrow and he might come back. I don't know. But, he moved to bigger and better things. Number two, he wrote the Monday Morning Optimist because we had to watch Jimmy Clausen play quarterback for a whole year. And we needed something to make us not go jump off of a building. And that's why he started that. It doesn't really fit anymore because we're not that bad now. And I'm not saying that we're not going to keep it because it is a staple of Mondays during the season. I'm not saying I'm going to cut it from the rotation. I'm just saying it's less needed now.
It's also still there. We just changed the format
It's
of it.
also still
'Cause
there.
We kind of
just-
broke it up into two posts with the winners
Yeah.
and losers and the money.
we just
I
changed.
also find it curious that everyone like just rushes to the defense of like the organization whenever
Yeah, I'm going to get there.
pick. Like, what have they done in the past like 2.5 decades? That
Yeah,
garnered your trust?
I'm gonna get there. On being too negative, I'm not being negative. Okay, I'm being realistic. I'm being measured and cautious, and I'm being objective. There's a difference between being negative and being objective. I'm not shitting on the Panthers any chance I can get. I'm just showing the neutral position. And I'm sorry that it bothers some people that the neutral position is not favorable right now. We haven't had sustainable success in 25 years. We've never had back-to-back winning seasons. We went 15-1 in 2015, lost the Super Bowl, and then went 6-10. And granted, Cam got hurt and things fell apart. And then we went 11-5. We couldn't beat the Saints in 3 tries. We lost in the wild card round. And then last year we went 7-9. Why should I be super duper positive? What reason has Ron Rivera and Marty Herney given me to be, oh, everything is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts? There are no reasons for that for me. Now, if you want to be that way, I'm fine with that. That's more than your prerogative. You can be happy and positive and then get disappointed when we go 6-10. I would rather say we're going to go 6-10 and be pleasantly surprised when we go 11-5 or 12-4. That's just the way I'm designed. I would rather expect nothing and be happy when something happens rather than be so confident and so happy and so positive that something's going to happen to only have it snatched away. I've been through too much bullshit in my life as a sports fan to get excited about anything anymore. I'm a Braves fan. I'm a Panthers fan. I'm a South Carolina Gamecocks fan. I used to be an Arsenal fan. I finally smartened up and stopped giving a shit about them because they're a garbage fire. I am a Hornets fan. I'm a Hurricanes fan. What reason do I have to be happy? Like, seriously, what reason do I have to be happy? So it's not that I'm ultra negative and I'm not trying to like steer CSR into a negative direction or anything. I'm just being real. Like, I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to pretend to be happy about what we're doing if I'm not happy about it. I'm not going to just lie because I think that my honesty means more than just giving you what you want to hear. And I don't tell John, Brian, Eric, Daniel, Evan, Andrew, Jack, and Walker, and Ashley, and Jason, and there's somebody else I'm leaving out. I don't tell all of these people what to write, and Billy, I don't tell them all what to write, what to say, what to think, what to feel, and how to react. They do that on their own. They're individuals, they're grown-ups, and they're adults, except for Brian. And they have their own they have their own feelings, and they just happen to agree with what I think on a lot of things. Now, that doesn't mean we agree all the time. We almost had a fight today in our Slack chat. I think with Canadian Panther and Billy and Eric and me and Brian. I think if we would have all been in a parking lot somewhere, it would have been like that scene in Anchorman. Over Brian Burns, and we don't always agree on everything, but we do agree on a lot of things. And it's just that we watch a product on TV that is bad, and we tell you about it. That's really all there is to it. We're just telling you what we see. We're not telling you what we want you to see or what we hope to see or what we would like to see. We're just telling you what we see. You know, Cam Newton is not the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not. Christian McCaffrey's not the best running back in the NFL. Luke Kuechly is the best linebacker in the NFL. You know, we do say that. So we just like to keep it real.
The thing is, like, I think the tune would change a lot if we had a different if we had a regime change, because it's not just like a sports nihilism thing. It's more of a Ron Rivera, and like for me, I've been mostly optimistic about the stuff Marty Herney's done in his second stint, even though he had a rough first stint, because I've given him like a second chance. I think with like Ron Rivera, for me personally, it's that he's shown a consistent unwillingness to do things that make factual sense. That it just, my projections, I assume he's going to continue to do things that do not make sense. It's not being negative. It's just that's what we have learned of Ron Rivera, because he's been here for what? This is gonna be his 8th season here. Season? Yeah. So like, it's just one of those things where it's not being negative for the sake of being negative. It's just,
no, we have plenty of reasons to be negative.
So,
and I mean, my God, we just, with the exception of Billy, we just made a trade to trade up and trade a guy and pick a guy that the trade is probably bad, but we're talking about how much we like it. Like, we're being positive today. I've
Real
done
quick,
nothing
so-
but say good things and positive things about the Brian Burns pick. The only person who's been more positive than me has been Brian.
His name is also Brian. So
And honestly, the only reason Brian's been positive is because he wanted to be right.
Do you still follow that account for Brian? The
yes,
Twitter
I
account?
do. All the Bryans. Yep.
I need to see if there's one for Brad's. That would be funny.
There's definitely one for John. There's a million Johns in the world, I swear. Real quick, while you're doing that, the Eagles and who else did I see? The Eagles have had a good draft so far, I think.
Washington's had a good draft so far too.
I mean,
Andre Dillard was a fine pick for the Eagles with
And then they
Jason
got
Peters.
And then they got a running back.
Yep. They're gearing up for another run.
I also like the AJ Brown pick for the Titans.
The Texans just picked a guy. I think his name was Max Sharping. I swear to God, it looked like Man Bear Pig on TV. I had to do a double take because I glanced up and I thought I saw Man Bear Pig. And I'm like, who in the hell drafted Man Bear Pig?
You know, I wouldn't hate the pick if someone picked Man Bear Pig.
No.
Got very aggressive. Mauler. Yeah, I really like the AJ Brown pick if he's going to be a slot receiver for Tennessee. Other than the fact that they paid a bunch of money to Adam Humphries. That part's not great, but Adam Humphries isn't exactly someone you make draft picks based on whether or not he's on your roster.
No.
Man, I love this slot wide receiver here, but is he going to take away snaps from Adam Humphries? So, I don't know. Also, the other thing, the Texans just had back-to-back picks like we talked about. Do they really need to go on the clock a second time?
No, honestly, if you have back-to-back picks, you should not be allowed to
They
do
already
that.
made their picks. It looks like the Chiefs are on the clock now.
Well, they are now, but like DeAndre Hopkins came out and read the pick. Is like, thanks, guys, and then went back into the back and then came back out 5 minutes later and said, all right, we're picking another one. Like, did you like, we know for sure we want one, but we need more time to figure out the second one. So, I don't know. When you guys ever draft fantasy football teams, if you're ever at the first or last pick, do you ever have to take a bunch of time for your second one, or you always just go boom, boom?
No, I always know exactly who I'm going to take back-to-back.
That's the other thing with the draft.
The only
like,
time it takes me longer is if somebody's taken both players.
I'm just gonna interject real quick. I gotta go, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
I will catch you guys later.
Bye, Brian.
Bye, guys. Enjoy
Now
the
we can-
draft.
We can talk about Brian.
I hate you.
Finally. Hurry up, get off, Brian. We have stuff to talk about. The other thing though, like, I guess you have to talk about trades and stuff, but for the majority of teams, like, don't you know who you're gonna pick? Like,
You have to.
you have hours and hours leading up to your pick. Like, you have a board, and it's just like, all right, that guy's gone. That guy's gone. Like, all right, this is the person at the top. Like, by the time, like, the team before you picks, you have to have, like, all right, if they pick this guy, we take this one. If they don't take that guy, then we take that one, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you really need another 10 minutes to think about it? It's not like,
I mean, these teams have staffs of people that their only job is to literally figure this shit out, like who they want. Like, that's all they do all year. So, yeah, they shouldn't take 20 minutes to figure out who they want to pick. They should all have a list of all the players that are available to be drafted.
whoa.
And as they're called out, cross them off the list.
Yeah.
And then you can just pick who you want. You
real
already know.
Rupan this fan asked if we don't make the playoffs, deep run of the playoffs, can we finally fire Rivera? I think even if Cam gets hurt and we don't make the playoffs, we'll probably use that as an excuse to part ways.
Yeah, I don't think Ron Rivera survives anything less than a winning record.
I doubt it. I'll believe it.
Well, let me qualify
believe what I
this. Unless Cam gets hurt, knock on wood, unless Cam gets hurt in week 1 or in training camp and he misses the entire year, If that happened, then I don't think Ron would get fired no matter what. Because our backup quarterback situation is ass. And I don't think
Not well until we take Will Greer.
until we take Will Greer, but I don't think that he would get fired if that were to happen. But if Cam stays healthy and we go 8-8 or worse, I do think he would probably look into pulling the trigger. But, and there's a big but here, no pun intended when I finish this sentence, if we fire Ron, we're going to just hire Mike McCarthy. Like, it's not going to be better.
I don't know.
To be fair, I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I still believe Rivera will be here until he's not, and I'll believe it when I see it. As far as his employment is concerned,
I mean, you have no reason to not feel that way because Tepper came from Pittsburgh and they've had like 4 coaches ever. At the
But
very least, they've
the
had
fact that-
4 since 1937. So
I know Tepper. Wasn't there a report that Tepper was very close to firing Ron after the season, but he was after talking with other people like around the league, they convinced him to give him one more shot.
yeah, something like that.
So I don't think I think his job is very clearly on the hot seat. Like
But I've also read rumors and reports that he was one of the ones that wanted to fire Mike Tomlin.
Mhm.
So I
So-
don't know.
Yeah, so he might be he's not Jerry Richardson, and I know a lot of us wish he would have taken that step to change the regime when he came in. But I understand why he'd be a little slow to rock the boat when the team that he inherited was somewhat successful
Yeah.
in the years leading up to his.
Yeah, I mean,
So
they went to the playoffs a year before he took over. So, I mean, I get it. And the thing I have a problem with, and I think Billy has mentioned this before, and if it could have been somebody else, but with Hurney and Ron, especially Hurney, either give him a 3 or 4 year contract or fire him. Because the problem that you're running into is Marty Hurney and Ron Rivera are only planning on 2019. They don't care about 2022. And to quote the Magic Johnson GIF, I'm not going to be here. You know, they may or may not be here in 3 years. So why would they care about what's best for the Panthers in 3 to 5 years when they have to win now to stay employed? So that's what makes you do things like trade 2 second rounders to move up and get Greg Little. Like, that's what makes those trades, is that you have to win now.
Can I go on a tangent real quick about Magic Johnson?
Yes, because, and after you do, we're going to get to a good suggestion from the comments. So go on your Magic Johnson.
Have you
tangent.
ever looked at his Twitter?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, it's so funny. So do you remember part of the reason he said he didn't want to be the president of the Lakers anymore was because he missed being able to tweet?
No.
Oh, well, that was a part. Apparently, a couple of the main contributing factors to his sudden resignation was, one, he was copied on emails that said bad things about him from other management. And the other was that he missed being able to tweet because he kept getting in trouble for tampering when he would tweet. So this is a real thing. And someone described Magic Johnson as a bland version of Drill.
Oh
And it's
my
so
God.
accurate. It's so funny. Like, I'm gonna pull up a tweet here. Here's a tweet from yesterday. I'll be tuned in at 5 p.m. Pacific time to watch the 2019 NFL Draft. That is a Magic Johnson tweet.
Yeah, that is bland drill. That's the perfect description.
You have everything that you want in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Great coaching, great scores, great offense, great defense, and star power. he just tweets like nothing. And like this is like what he missed doing and made him quit his job.
Wow.
I'm sad to hear about the passing of one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history, John Havlicek. 13-time All-Star, 8-time champion, Finals MVP, and Hall of Famer. John was a champion on the court and in the community.
I mean, anytime you can quit being the chairman of one of the top branded professional sports
You there, Brad? You cut out. Billy, you there?
I'm here.
Can you hear Brad?
Did Brad cut out?
Can you hear him still?
No.
Brad, say something and see if Billy can hear you. This is great listening for our viewers.
I just sent him a message.
But yeah, so that's for all of you guys. That's Magic Johnson Twitter. It's a great place. Magic Johnson quit as president of the Lakers so he could tweet article decks. You back, Brad? Oh my god!
Brad, you back?
I saw his thing pop up for a second.
I heard him too.
Not in that way. Let's see if I can find what he was talking about.
I can hear him. You can't hear us though.
Oh. Let's see. I think he's talking about Daniel Camp's thing about the NFL doing the first and second on Thursday night, third and fourth on Friday, and fifth to seventh on Saturday, and reduce time for picks in the first round 8 minutes. Anything they can do to speed up the draft, I'm all for. Because I think it's the 10 minutes. It used to be longer too, but the 10 minutes
It
is
was
still.
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it used to be 15 minutes for the first round, which is just wholly unnecessary. But
Hello.
oh, yeah, there he is.
Okay, my internet cut out on me for some reason.
What was the thing you wanted to talk about? Daniel's thing about rearranging what rounds are when on the draft.
Yes.
Yeah, I was agreeing with him.
Yeah, they used to do it that way. Actually, the first and second round used to be the first night, and then the third and fourth were the next night, and then the rest of it was the last night. That's the way it was for years until like 5 or 6 years ago. They changed it to what it is now
Because they want to put that first round on prime time.
because they want the first round to be on prime time, and I absolutely agree with doing the first 2 rounds on Thursday night and starting it at 7:00. Third and fourth on Friday night, starting it at 7:00, and fifth, sixth, and seventh on Saturday, starting at noon.
You know why they won't do that though?
Oh, absolutely.
West Coast that will not be happy if the first round of the draft starts at 4:00 in the afternoon
Yeah.
on Thursday,
Yeah, that is true.
which is their fault for living on the West Coast, which
yeah,
is
that's their
the
fault.
worst coast for sports. I think.
It is.
Could you imagine if like every sporting event was done at like 8:00, 9:00 at night?
Yeah,
Every day?
I would hate it.
I wouldn't know what to do between then and when I go to bed.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do disagree with Daniel's suggestion, I don't think the time should be reduced to 8 minutes. I think it should be reduced to 5.
I'm also for that.
I don't think teams need 8 minutes to figure out what they want to do. If you can't work a trade out, then just do like the NBA and just trade the player.
Or just wait. Like, I don't
Just
know.
wait.
Like
Yeah.
the teams a couple times that have just gotten skipped over and come back and pick later.
Yeah.
A little housekeeping. This is way too long for a podcast. What should I do about that?
Don't worry about it. Just we'll just say that the first one was a podcast, so we'll just keep, this one was a live show.
I'll figure something out. I have an idea. We'll talk
Or yeah,
about
if you want to do it and like cut.
I'll just cut your rant out and that's it. That'll shorten it down to about 30 minutes.
I mean, if you want to cut,
I'll probably go until we
like
kinda
go
stop
back to where
talking-
we stopped talking about Greg Little.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I don't think anybody cares to listen to us talk about like condiments and Magic Johnson tweets and stuff after the fact.
Actually, my internet cut out, so I didn't.
The last thing I said was just he basically quit his job to just like tweet like article headline decks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he tweeted now. What did he tweet? Congratulations to my friend Tim Stout for 50 years of broadcasting in Michigan. Your nomination for the 2019 Michigan Sports Hall of Fame is well earned and you deserve to be inducted. Fans, support Tim by voting at this link.
Anytime you can quit running the Lakers to tweet that, you got to do it.
It's so bland and boring.
K-War has a suggestion in the CSR thread of the live broadcast. I think one reason teams are afforded additional time when they have back-to-back picks is to entertain and hash out potential trades. That is possible.
I mean, I know that's
and
what
that probably is what it is, but I don't think they need it. Like, you're professional organizations, work that shit out in the first 10 minutes you get.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get like you don't have to, you can't not talk about like the 54th pick while you're on the clock for the 53rd.
Yeah,
pick.
exactly.
Like, you can just be like, "Hey, we'll give you a pick for 53rd," and we just be like, "No, we'll give you 54," and they're like, "All right, that's fine."
Yeah.
So, by the way, speaking of trading up, so Jeff Fisher was on a podcast today, and they interviewed him, and pretty much the entire interview was about just draft day stuff, along with like what I told you, where they talked about sending out all the players out as captains against Washington. That was I actually laughed out loud when
if we fire Ron Rivera, I want to hire Jeff Fisher, and I don't care if we go 7-9 every year. That is the price I'm willing to pay to have that human being as my head coach.
He's so funny.
He is so fucking funny.
For those of you who are not Brad that I didn't message this to earlier, they're like, you remember that time when you played against Washington and you sent out all the players you received in the RG3 trade to be captains for the game, and then you denied that you knew anything about it? But just come on, man, admit it. Admit that you knew what was going on. He's like, admit. I don't know if I denied it. I was the one that had to leak it because no one understood what happened. And he's like, I had to tell the local beat guy to look into it so he could report it so everybody would know what happened.
It is the greatest story ever told.
But he was telling, and then they also asked him about being on social media, and he's just like, after 2 years of getting my butt dragged on the asphalt, I just decided it was time for me to put my 2 cents in. He's like, I love the little GIF thing. You just type in the word that you're looking for, and you pick the GIF you like.
He is actually really good at Twitter.
I know.
Like,
it's really funny.
He's way better at Twitter than he is as a football coach.
He just seems like such a cool person.
Yeah.
But
score update for those of us who are Hurricanes fans. The score is currently 0-0 with 18 minutes left in the third period.
I might just turn on that game. I'm getting bored of the draft since we don't have a pick. And
I have to watch it because Eric asked me to cover for him in case we trade up because he had to go. He went out to dinner. So if we trade up from 100, he asked me to cover. So
but he was telling stories where like when he was with Houston and they took Steve McNair. I guess it was Jacksonville had pick 2 and they called him. And they're like, "Hey, we got people calling, trying to trade up to number 2 because they want your guy. You want to throw us a 4th round pick? Nobody else, nobody can jump you." And the Oilers called their bluff, and they were bluffing. But there's another. He said there was another time where I think he said it was the Giants. They knew like the Giants were going to pick someone. The Giants wanted Jeremy Shockey, and the Giants were picking 1 spot behind them, and whoever he was with at the time, I guess it was probably Tennessee. He's like, "Well, we got our guy, but you guys want to get an extra pick real quick?" And they're like, "Okay." And they called up the Giants. It was Ernie Corsi. He's like, "Hey, we got guys. Someone on the phone on the other line looking to trade up, take Jeremy Shockey." And Ernie Corsi's like, "Shit, hold on." And then they waited, and he called back. He's like, "All right, what do you want?"
Yeah.
And then they got like a 5th round pick or something to move back 1 spot. And it's like that's really funny. Also very smart.
Yeah, it's very smart.
I mean, the Hornets did that in the NBA draft. Not that very many people on here care about the NBA, but the Hornets did that to the Clippers. They got like 2 second-round picks to move down 1 spot and pick the guy that they wanted anyway.
Oh.
Savvy. Remember when people thought we should take DK Metcalf with our pick? Or he wouldn't be at our pick?
He is still on the board.
He's like 4th in Mel Kiper's best available. He's not even like the best available player. Do you think teams are concerned by the fact that he's as agile as Tom Brady?
I think that might have something to do with it.
He seems to me like one of those like specialty players.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And like in that, like he'll be a good, like, to put it in simple terms, like he'll be a better real life player than fantasy sports player, in that like he'll get like 700 yards and 6 touchdowns a year, but you have to account for him just as a deep threat all the time because he's fast and massive.
He would
But-
honestly fit the best in New England
It's just like their deep guy.
as just their deep guy.
Yeah, like what Brandon Cooks did for them a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something like that where you just like a bootleg version of Calvin Johnson, where you just like send it deep and throw it up to him every now and then, and just keep defenses honest. But
Yeah.
he's not going to produce a lot just because of the inefficiency, and you can't do that every play. So
Yeah. Plus, he can only run one direction.
yes,
He can run in a straight line, and he can get there quicker than you. But if he has to
I gotta
turn
be
and
honest.
move in a different direction, he's screwed.
I gotta be. I feel like the drop is a little too much, though. He's still really good.
I am surprised he's still there.
the other
I'm
thing
not-
is though, he has a lot. Like he's never not been hurt.
No, that is a more valid concern
Mhm.
than some of the agility or whatever questions. Because like, come on, yeah, like he can't cut. Then don't ask him to run a post out.
Yeah, that Billy, that's asking a lot of NFL play callers to adjust their scheme to the personnel.
yeah, you can't do that.
No, don't ask him to run a post route. Throw the ball, put the ball in his hands on reverses and screens and go routes, and then prosper.
You're asking too much. That's absurd. But he's one of those things where another add into the case of being a massive human being doesn't preclude you from getting hurt. If anything, sometimes it seems like it increases your chances of getting hurt if you take it too far. Where you just your body can be too big, too massive for your
Yeah,
joints and stuff to handle it.
Sean Merriman's doing the lights out dance like it's
I like Sean Merriman.
Oh wow, they got probably the best free safety in the draft.
Oh wow, I can't believe he fell that far.
Chargers just that's with Derwin James, man.
Oh, that's a nasty secondary now. Dang.
The Chargers are just going to be like that. They're like the team. To make another fantasy football reference, they're like the team of the guy who like fell asleep and couldn't make the draft, and his team just auto drafts all the players that slip through the cracks from the people that are caught up in their guys are targeting. Because that's what they did last year, where it's just like Derwin James is clearly like a top 10 prospect, but everybody else has other things that they're prioritizing, and then Chargers like, I guess if he's here, and then the same thing with Nasir Adderley, just like I guess if there nobody else will take him,
we'll take him. Hey, you're gonna let us have him at 60?
Yeah, he's just that guy that just like sits on the top of the list of available players for like 15 picks.
Yeah.
Until the guy that's like controlled by the CPU makes the pick. That's the Chargers. So now the Browns and the Chargers with dynamic young secondaries, especially if Barrett can stay healthy, because he's very good for the 4 games a year that he plays. I completely missed that the Rams signed Clay Matthews.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they signed Clay Matthews.
When did that happen?
When did that happen? I didn't even know that.
Like the second week of free agency.
Oh,
I did not know that.
I legitimately did not know that.
March 19th. What do you know? The Rams love their mercenaries on defense.
They got to keep doing it until,
Economic-
because this is the last year that they don't have to pay Goff because they picked up his 5th-year option. So next year is the last year. Yeah, next year's the last year that they have Goff for affordable.
That'd be an interesting team to see what they do when it comes time to pay Goff.
If they're
Because-
smart, they'll draft Will Greer and let Goff loose.
Because Goff isn't that.
He's not good
Category.
enough to pay $30 million a year.
Yeah, he's like he's quarterback purgatory.
Yeah. He's
like Andy Dalton and Ryan Tannehill.
Andy
like,
Dalton,
where
Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins,
Mhm.
Case Keenum. A
Yeah.
team
Good
good enough to go to like a team that has nobody, but not good enough to win.
and good enough to make you feel like you don't need a quarterback, but not
Yeah.
good enough to actually win you anything significant.
Yeah.
Unless the team around him is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So
'Cause I feel like a difference making quarterback with McVay and those receivers, they win like 14 games.
if Sean McVay drafts Will
Which I know they almost
Greer,
did
and
anyway,
I'm not even using hyperbole, if they draft Will Greer and sit him for this year and next year, and then cut Goff loose, the Rams will win the Super Bowl within the next 3 to 5 years. No question about it, if they keep Sean McVay. And they can keep this mercenaries on defense train rolling for 5 more years.
Yeah, like they had, and I forgot also they have Eric Weddle too.
Yeah, like they can just keep doing what they're doing and just keep recycling rookie quarterbacks in Sean McVay's system. If they figure this out and do this, they're the next Patriots. Because they've got everything else. And it's completely predicated on having a cheap quarterback.
I wonder if we're going to see a team that goes that route of trying to like go all in on the strategy of putting a superior team around a mediocre quarterback, like the Seahawks with Russell Wilson on his rookie deal, and like the Bears are doing right now, Mitch Trubisky and the Rams with Jared Goff, where you just cycle through quarterbacks and spend 95% of your salary cap on the rest of the team.
I would love to see a team try it and see how it works.
Seems like a Patriots thing, but I don't know how Bill Belichick's going to stay around long enough after Tom Brady retires for them to implement it. But I could totally see the Patriots doing that, where they just cycle through like second and third round quarterbacks with.
Yeah, I think they wanted to do that with Jimmy Garoppolo, but Brady just kept playing.
Damn it, Tom! Would you please retire?
Jesus,
you got us bent over a barrel here.
We got to trade Jimmy G because you won't go away.
I know. Now we don't know when to pick a quarterback. Because you could retire next year or you could retire when you're 48. We just don't know.
The Patriots, I think, are going to take a quarterback tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know if they trust if Brian Hoyer is who you want this year.
No, I don't even know who's.
By the way, shout out to the people who are still here.
Yes, absolutely. We love you. You are my favorite people on CSR.
How many questions are you getting?
We're not getting a ton of
getting a ton of questions, but we're getting a ton of comments. People are still here. We still have people watching. Who will be our starting free safety in 2019? If we don't draft anyone, Colin
Will
Jones.
Greer.
Well, we really like his mobility, his ability to read the offense. So, who better to guess what an offense is going to do than a quarterback who knows the inner workings of offensive schemes?
The Patriots can take Ryan Finley, Clayton Thorson, Will Greer, Jarrett Stidham, Kyle Shermer, Brett Rippon. Oh, that's who they'll take. They'll take Brett Rippon.
I never even heard of him, and maybe I'm a
Mark
bad football
Rippon,
person.
Son, Trace McSorley, Nick Fitzgerald, Gardner Minshew. Like, there's a lot of late Jake Browning. Like, there's a lot of day 3 quarterbacks. They'll take one and turn him into the next Tom Brady.
Not saying he'll be any good, but I like Trace McSorley at Penn State. I like his spunk, his moxie.
Yeah. He's a warrior.
So yeah, that has nothing. Well, I don't know. I guess I could be an NFL GM because I feel like that's what a lot of them go on for their picking of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I like his spunk.
But I didn't watch a whole lot of college football, but I did watch a couple Penn State games because my dad likes Ohio State, and I watch Big Ten football sometimes, and I was always just kind of like I like this kid, even though he's not super good at the whole throwing the ball thing.
Yeah.
But clearly, we've learned that that's not important for quarterbacks.
No, doesn't matter.
That's what baffles me. Like, I was looking today. That's who I wanted for the Panthers.
Yeah,
Taylor Rapp, yeah.
I would like to say I think a lot of people were making the connection that he could come to Carolina, and I like the player, but I don't think he would fit well with Eric Reed.
No,
Oh, absolutely not, but we don't care about that.
We can't put Taylor Rapp and Eric Reed on the field at the same time. That's a mistake, but we would have.
No, my reasons for wanting him are absolutely not football related at all. Brad, and the rest of the inner circle knows what the reasons for me wanting Taylor Rapp were.
Yeah.
But what were we saying before that? Oh, so I was looking through because Daniel Jones's production in college wasn't great, and so that just made me think because there's always like a couple of guys like Josh Allen last year where they're bad in college and people are like, oh, well, they'll get better against tougher competition, obviously. And so I was looking, and I can't find anybody that you'd consider like an elite quarterback that didn't produce like at an extreme level in their last year in college. Like the closest one I could find is Matt Ryan, but that was a while ago. Like in more recent history, like the Deshaun Watsons and Pat Mahomes and Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, all those guys were, and Baker Mayfield too, were dominant in their last year of college. There's nobody that was just like, oh yeah, he completed 58% of his passes and stuff. Like they're all like 67% of their passes for 9 yards an attempt with 48 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Yeah, I said this in the Slack chat when we had this conversation earlier. The only other one that comes close is Jay Cutler, and I wouldn't call Jay Cutler a very good quarterback.
Yeah, and that's also
that's a dated reference. He was decent, but yeah, I think Jones. I think what you have is Jay Cutler. I mean, it's a school that's known for academics over athletics. They're
wow, Josh Rosen was traded.
Yeah, he was officially traded. I mean, it's the same thing that we were talking
to
about
Miami.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the pick right here.
Yeah. Okay. But Vanderbilt and Duke, they're academic schools over athletic, at least in football. They're both bottom tier in their conference. They're always loser football programs, and both quarterbacks weren't very good. And I mean, that's basically what you have to look forward to.
I want to give Adam Schefter credit for being able to laugh at himself. He, with his trying to type this as fast as he could, he tweeted, "Arizona is trading Josh Rosen to Miami per Spruce." And then he quote tweeted it a minute later and said, "A source and a Spruce both confirmed it. Rosen to the Dolphins." So I like being able to poke fun at yourself, because a lot of times like Woj and Shams, if they have a typo or whatever, and Schefter and Rappaport too, if they have a typo in their breaking news tweet, they'll delete it and tweet it again with the because I'll get like alert because I have notifications turned on for the NBA insiders because for if I need to cover something for the Hornets, and a lot of times I'll get like a Woj tweet and I'll click on it and it'll be gone, and then I'll look at it and then I'll get another one like 30 seconds later and it says the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But so cowards deleting their typos.
If Twitter would just give us a goddamn edit button, we wouldn't have to do that. It's funny to me, like,
because it's
hey, Twitter, can we have an edit button? Hey, here's threaded tweets. Hey, Twitter, can we have an edit button? Here are polls. Hey, Twitter, can we have an edit button? Oh, we've made the threads different colors so you can see them easier. Hey, Twitter, can we have an edit button? Here are GIFs. Hey, Twitter, can we have an edit button? Here's a button at the top right of the app that you have to click every other day to go back to a chronological feed. Even though you've said that you want a chronological feed, we're going to put it back to show the best tweets first because we hate you and we want to make Twitter as unusable as possible.
Speaking of, if anybody has their Twitter set to show best tweets first, you're a psycho.
Who in the fuck would ever do that?
Like, Twitter, why does social media think we want that?
Twitter, I know why, but Twitter is designed for what's happening now. Like, that's the whole fucking point of Twitter. I don't care about your bomb ass tweet from 3 hours ago. I want to know what is happening right now. The reason they do it is because that's the only way they can make money off of ad revenue.
Oh, I guess so they can push ads higher up.
They can push ads higher up. That's why Facebook does it, and that's why Instagram does it. Instagram doesn't bother me as much because that's just where you go to look at pictures of things.
Yeah.
But Facebook, I don't care about, Susie's birthday party that was 3 days ago, but Carol and Karen they got in a fight and everybody's talking about it. I don't care about that. I care about the farmer's market in my neighborhood tomorrow morning, or that my great grandmother died yesterday, or things like that. I care about those things more, and it is frustrating.
Do you know what? So 2 things. One, it's so frustrating if you're on Twitter and you don't realize that it's switched back to showing top tweets first, and you're trying to tweet along with the live event, and you're like, why the fuck is nobody tweeting about this?
Yeah, why is nobody talking about the NFL draft? Oh,
Yeah.
that's why.
It's like, why is the most recent tweet from 6 hours ago? And then you finally realize that, like, oh, if I scroll down, the next tweet's from 45 seconds ago. That's why. And the other one is Facebook does this thing where, like, I'll be scrolling through Facebook and actually see something that, like, I want that is interesting to me. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
I want to read. Oh, what?
Top 20 player for me just went off the board.
DK?
Juan Thornhill went 63rd to the Chiefs. That's a good draft pick.
Spoilers. Wow.
No, they just announced it on TV.
Oh, they haven't announced on ESPN yet.
Oh.
No, unless I'm behind. I'm behind. That's right.
Yeah, I was going to
Nope,
say, on
they
NFL Network, they just
They
announced.
did announce it.
Wow, hold on.
I had to rewind.
Wait, you guys are way behind then. Like, they announced it like 20 seconds before on NFL Network.
I'm on
No, I was
NFL
behind.
Network.
I was behind because I rewound it to for a snap. But the Facebook, there'll be like a rare instance where I'm like, ooh, I want to revisit this post in a second, but first I'm gonna go answer this text I just got, and then I'll answer the text, and then I'll go back over to Facebook, and it will automatically scroll me back to the top.
And as if it never existed.
Yeah, and it's like, and I cannot find it because it's not in the same. It's always in a different order. So now I'm like, it's like, oh, you already saw that. You don't care anymore. It's like, no, where to go? I was gonna read that.
Yeah.
And then I have to try to remember who shared it, and then I have to search for them. And it's just like, why are you searching for this person? And I'm like scrolling through their feed, and it's like, oh, I don't like anything that they posted 6 days ago. And yeah, it's a mess.
My favorite thing, and this is with Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Let's just say I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling through and I see a cool watch, an ad for a cool watch. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm going to take a look at it. Well, for the next 6 months,
Yeah.
all I get are ads for fucking watches. Like, I don't really need a watch. I don't want a watch. I just thought that particular picture of that particular watch on that particular day was neat. Don't act like I'm in the market for one just because I looked at it. And Instagram is bad about that shit.
No, I know. It's really funny when, like, especially when like I'll like look something up for my girlfriend or something to tell her how much it costs, or I'll look something up so I can take a screenshot of it as a joke or something, and then it's just like, oh, like, I don't know. Or the other one that I get all the time, my girlfriend, because she's a girl, likes to look at, like, she follows like engagement ring stuff.
Oh,
since,
crap.
yeah, so since like we're obviously best friends on Instagram, since we like message each other all the time when we send each other like memes and stuff, and Instagram's like, your best friend likes these stuff, so you must like these things too, and they always pop up on my feed as like ads.
Yeah.
And it's like Instagram trying to subtly send me messages.
Yeah.
It's always fun. But like, yeah, I feel like targeted ads more often than not are like misinterpreting your Google search history.
Okay. Miami committed highway robbery.
I know, right? They got a 2020 fifth round pick too.
They got Josh Rosen, who was drafted 10th overall last year, and a 5th round pick in 2020, which is the year that they're apparently planning to come back because they're building 2020 picks. Arizona got the number 62 pick in the draft. Miami will only have to pay him $6 million over the next 3 years.
Total.
$2 million a year.
Oh,
Total.
jeez.
$6 million total.
That's good for them.
I mean, that is
DK
that's robbery.
Sorry. Seattle took him.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. He'll be good with Russell Wilson.
He's kind of redundant with
can't
Tyler
believe
Lockett,
that
other
I
than
can't
being
believe that
massive.
the Cardinals are that stupid.
I wonder what else other offers they are getting.
Apparently nothing. Because I mean, here's the thing. If you want to draft Kyler Murray number 1 overall, that's all well and good. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want to do, you know. But why not trade Josh Rosen before the draft? And you could probably get something better. Like, you know, everybody knew they wanted Kyler Murray, so they probably were going to get fleeced no matter what. But once you've already drafted him, you have absolutely no leverage at all. You're out. And it's I don't know. I just don't know. There's some teams that I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think this is a good trade though for Seattle. I mean, DK is like gonna work his butt off, and they like those athletic guys in Seattle too.
I mean, if nothing else, like I said, him and Tyler Lockett, while being somewhat redundant, despite being complete opposites in terms of physical makeup.
I mean, he's definitely like I don't think they've ever had like an outside receiver like this big since like Sidney
No.
Wright.
Well, I mean, they had Brandon Marshall, who's that big. Not good by any means, but he's that big.
DCat. How can you mispronounce DK?
He's like looking at the car, like, how do you pronounce this? This is just too consonants.
Like I could get it. I could get it if they drafted like O'Shane Ximenez or some shit. But how can you mispronounce DK? Wow. Score update for those of hockey fans of us. The Hurricanes and Islanders are still tied 0-0 with less than 4 minutes to go in regulation.
It's like the opposite of the game against Capitals.
Yeah. I'm on the bandwagon now, man. I'm all aboard the Hurricanes hype train. And it's funny because, like, I've always liked them. Like, I pulled it out of my closet. I've got an old hat, Hurricanes hat, back when Reebok was still the uniform provider. So that shows I'm an OG.
Yeah, before they just they went purely CrossFit.
Yeah, but before Adidas took over. And I've just always casually followed because I don't have time to watch hockey, baseball, football, basketball, soccer, and have a wife and kids. I don't have time for all that stuff. So I kind of put hockey on the back burner because the regular season hockey is not as exciting as the playoffs are. And the Hurricanes haven't made the playoffs since like 2009. So I haven't watched them that often. But I am fully on the bandwagon.
Dude, this is a really good like skill corp if you have Baldwin, Lockett, and Metcalf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, they just
I
showed
hate
the
it.
Cardinals on ES. We have to play them this year too.
Yes.
Who do we have to play?
Seahawks.
Oh, we always do them.
The Cardinals and their like key departures on ESPN has head coach Steve Wilkes, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and a couple players. And then it says finish last in scoring total yards, rush yards, and pass yards. 4th team ever in NFL history to do that.
Damn.
That's the Carolina Panthers with Jimmy Clausen weren't that bad, were they? Because we finished not last in something like rush offense, maybe.
I think it was because we still had John Fox, so it had to be running offense.
We
'Cause-
based pure volume, we're able
Yeah.
to fall up to like 28th in rush yards.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
about to
we
look it
we
up.
were awful that year. I mean,
Yeah.
but see the Cardinals. It's not Josh Rosen's fault that they're bad or that they were bad. I mean,
Dude,
Never
you
going to
see this tweet,
succeed.
Brad?
What tweet?
Someone, what's his name? Roto Pat was like, I am having trouble actually explaining it, but the Dolphins basically ran a victimless Ponzi scheme to get Josh Rosen.
That's accurate.
By the way, real quick, we averaged 143 pass yards a game with Jimmy Clausen. Could you? That is so unfathomably bad. 143 passing yards per game.
Yeah, that's like Blaine Gabbert level bad.
No, we were. Oh, where were we? We were 13th in rushing yardage that year. So,
Yeah, we were good running the ball because we couldn't throw it.
but we're good running the ball, or did we just run the ball a lot? The answer is.
I don't know. My God, you're making me look up 2010 Carolina Panthers
and I'm
statistics.
looking it up. We were average 4.3 yards per carry.
Oh, so yeah, it's just because we ran it a billion times.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go to Pro Football Reference here. Team stats. God, this is awful.
Get some names though.
Rushing team. 428 carries, 846 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry, 115 yards per game, 26.8 attempts per game. So we ran it about 27 times per game. Good God, we were awful. We got Cam out of it.
We had twice as many rushing touchdowns as we did passing touchdowns. Oh no, that's not right. We had
9 passing touchdowns.
We had 7 rushing touchdowns. That's not a good ratio.
No.
It's not a lot of touchdowns to begin with.
Jimmy Clausen was 1-9, 52.5 completion percentage, 1,558 yards, 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 5.2 yards per attempt, 9.9 yards per catch, 119.8 yards per game, 58.4 rating in 10 starts and 13 games.
How often?
That is awful.
So you know, how Pro Football Reference has like their adjust their approximate value thing. They have to like try to
Yeah,
quantify
yeah.
it.
It's like war.
So, yeah. Well, Jimmy Clausen's for his rookie year was 0.
Yeah. We
I
could
wonder-
have literally put a fan out there and it would have been equally as bad.
Let's see. How many times since like 2000 has a player started at least 10 games and had an approximate value of less than 1? Go.
The only thing that kept us in from going 0-16 was that our defense wasn't as awful as our offense. We averaged 12.3 points a game.
That's so bad. So there is one other quarterback since 2000 nope, never mind. Take that back. No other quarterback since the year 2000 has had
Wow.
an approximate value of 0 while starting at least 10 games. But there is one quarterback who had an approximate value of 1. And he started 11 games, and it was in the year 2000. Do you know who it is?
Jamarcus Russell?
No.
Joey Harrington.
No.
I don't know then.
Achilles Smith.
Oh, Achilles Smith. Wow. That's a name I haven't heard in forever.
For good reason.
Yeah.
44% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions.
Dang. In 2010, we scored 1 touchdown or less 5 times. We scored 2 touchdowns or less
Every other time.
3, 4, 5, 10 times. No, 11 times.
All right, guys.
We only we scored more than 14 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yes, Billy? That's not good.
Billy has to head out.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good. We've been doing this for way too long.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find if it, like. See who's a comparable recent player. It's all these people. Who I don't know who these people are. These people that have an approximate value of 0, but apparently started 10 games.
The Hurricanes and Islanders are knotted at 0-0 and are going to overtime.
Who is Anthony Auclair? These are all like offensive linemen and like blocking tight ends and stuff, I guess. My batteries are just dying everywhere. I had to plug in my headset. And now my laptop says it's about to die. Might be time to pull the plug on the show.
Time to bail on the show.
Yeah. I want to see the Steelers pick here real quick.
Yeah, we'll
don't
do
know
that.
why. I guess because it's just they're on. I don't care. I couldn't care less about the Steelers. See, Santonio, like that's what I was saying earlier. You don't have to yell into the microphone. That's why it's a microphone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to yell. People don't get that. All right. Are we gonna do anything tomorrow?
We can. I mean, I don't want to do anything like from noon to 7, but like if we want to think about it and figure out a time, we can do something like an hour or so. We don't have to do it for
the
entire day. I don't want to do that.
See, I was planning on talking with you guys for 8 hours straight, but fine.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that if you want.
If you don't want to
go live.
I didn't realize. Oh no, that's never mind. No, that's fine.
Should we get a feeler for our other thing we were thinking about doing, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
John and I are thinking about starting another podcast where we take a look back at bad things like the 2010 Panthers,
like we just did with Jimmy Clausen.
Like we just did with Jimmy Clausen, and calling it that was bad. I think is what we said.
That was what you said. Yes.
Yeah, that was bad. Agreed. Do you think that's a viable idea? Is it something you would listen to? This would probably be about a 30-minute show because I don't think we could talk too long on.
And it will probably we'll probably get sidetracked a lot, especially because me in particular, I go off on all sorts of tangents.
Yeah. Daniel says do it around the 4th round pick because the last pick that really matters. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
We could do it like at noon when it starts, and then after the 4th round pick is over, after we analyze it, we could quit.
Yeah,
like
have fun with
that. Do the whole 4th round and then bail.
Arctic Cat said he'd be down for it. That's all
we need. Thanks, Arctic Cat. Yep. So I mean, we might go on for 30 minutes. We might go on for an hour. We might transition into things that are not bad. Like we might start talking about barbecue or, ketchup or things like that.
Do you know it? The other thing is people are going to learn that I have a lot of really unpopular opinions about almost everything.
Yes.
Because I was just about to say I don't really care too much.
Oh my God. But
it's fine, but I never really eat it, and I never really go out of my way to get it. It's whatever.
But this idea was born out of we were looking at college overtime changed. Like the NCAA changed the way college overtime works. After the 5th overtime now, teams will go for 2 from the 3-yard line repeatedly until one team wins instead of what they do now. Oh, Jack A. Polite just got drafted by the Jets. Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Also, Brad and I go down like rap.
We do.
A little peek behind the curtain for a couple of you guys that are still listening. Typically when we record podcasts, we talk for like 10 or 15 minutes beforehand, unless Brad and I get sidetracked before we even start. And then we do the show, and then Brian immediately gets off to like pee or sleep or to have a life or something. And Brad and I end up getting like real deep into random conversations about stuff.
For 2 hours sometimes.
And for the two of us, it's like, this seems like an entertaining thing that people might want to listen to. And a lot of the good ones are when we do stuff like we just did with Jimmy Clausen, where we like,
we just talk about just weird stuff.
like you were saying with the North Texas Florida national game that went 25-22 in 7 overtimes.
Yeah, that was the idea kicked in my head because on our Slack chat for the CSR staff, we were talking about the college overtime rule change, and I asked the group how many overtime games have ever gone more than 5 overtimes, because people are going to get mad and say this is going to ruin overtime, and it's actually not, because only 7 have ever gone more than 5 overtimes out of 600 overtime games. So it's only going to affect a very tiny percentage of games. And we actually came to the consensus that they should do this after the 3rd overtime instead of the 5th to make it actually affect more games. But there's one game that was in 2006, 7, 6, somewhere in there.
Something like that.
Yeah, but it was North Texas and Florida International. This was the year that Florida International went 0-12. And the final score was 25-22 in 7 overtimes. And we just got on a hour-long tangent on how awful this game had to be. Like, both kickers combined to miss 9 field goals. Like, after the 3rd overtime, they just kept trying to kick a field goal and they would miss.
They had 14 total possessions in overtime with 0 touchdowns.
14 total possessions in overtime and combined for 9 points. And they were missing chip shots too. It wasn't like they were going for 50-yarders. They were missing like 25-yarders. And so we just
wasn't like the running back had like 36 carries for like 90 yards.
Yeah, one running back had 30 carries for like 90 yards, and the other one had like 28 carries for 105 yards. Like, it was an awful, awful game. It was kind of like the bowl game last year that was so bad. And
that's a good one.
We'll do that one first. But we were talking about it, and I'm like, this is a good idea for a secondary podcast, because we like doing Keep Sounding. But I like to talk about things other than the Panthers. And we figure if you like us talking about the Panthers, you'll like us talking about other stuff. This could be kind of like the scratching post in a podcast is probably the best way to describe it, except we would only be talking about things that were bad. So be looking for that in the future. Did I lose you, John? Okay. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, John just texted me and said that his computer died. So I think that we are probably just about done with this. Okay. Yeah, give me a few minutes. John is, I think, trying to come back, but I think he said his laptop died, so we might be done for the night.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, John's back.
Did you see what Josh Scobie just did?
No.
He walks up with a card and he like leans over the mic and he's like, with the 69th pick of the NFL draft. Like he really.
Oh.
He he paused and he looked up.
That's awesome. I can't believe they didn't get Gronk to announce the 69th pick,
Even though it's Jacksonville's pick.
even though it was Jacksonville.
That's good. All right, what is the Duval thing?
I don't know.
Sounds like a Google thing. We have more listeners join since in the last couple minutes. What are you people doing?
Yeah, what do you not have anything better to do? But the popular sentiment is that we should do this "That Was Bad" show.
Mhm.
So be on the lookout.
Duval's
for
the
that.
is the county,
Oh,
which I
okay.
guess is cool. Go Mecklenburg.
Yeah. Berkeley represent.
No, we don't care about that. They say 2 states, 1 team. They don't mention all your counties. It's all 2 states, 1 team, 2 counties, York and Mecklenburg.
Okay, somebody just asked me on the CSR page what I think of the Greg Little pick. They just got in. I will say this again for you since you just got here. I like the choice. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good left tackle. I didn't like the trade. I think we gave up too much. I would have preferred to trade the second pick in the 3rd round, number 100, instead of number 77. But you got to pay to play. And if they truly believe he's a franchise left tackle and they're proven right, then nobody will care in 3 years that we did what we did.
Since you didn't ask me, I'm going to provide my opinion as well.
Well, he didn't ask you, John.
That's never stopped me before.
Oh, well, that is true.
I agree. I never like trading up. Just a bad idea. But I like the pick. Like throwing aside from the value of the trade and all that stuff, I like the pick. I think we filled the 2 biggest holes on the roster to the best extent we could hope for to this point. And I understand the thinking of Marty and the rest of the front office if they think that Little is a franchise caliber left tackle. I can imagine where I can see why they would be like, let's not sweat this out. Let's just go get him, and we can breathe a little easier for the rest of this draft, even if it costs us a pick, just for their sanity. So
yeah. Plus, I think they want to go home early tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if they trade out our 6th round pick to move up, like our 5th and 6th round picks to move up in the 4th round. Just
which
so
honestly
they can go
isn't a
home.
bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. I kind of hope they do it so I can go home.
Another Jeff Fisher story that I heard today. When he was with the 49ers, I don't know what his role was with the team then, but look, it's a Panthers fan with an old, outdated shirt. Someone get that person an upgrade. He said they let the team president make the last pick every year, and they picked a quarterback, and he's like, that guy doesn't have a lot of vowels in his last name. I like that guy. So that's who they picked with their 7th round pick. It's which shows how much teams value those late 6th, 7th round picks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find his name because it's. Let's see. Oh man.
Yeah, our
12
commenter
rounds.
said that he did not want your opinion, John. So you have made our listeners unhappy.
Well, I can't take it back now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was actually the 8th round. The 8th round back in 1993.
Could you
he's
imagine if the draft had 8 rounds in it now? How much
with
torture
32
that would
teams
be?
now? Yeah. He's like Elvis Gerbach. He's like he only has.
Elvis Gerbach. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like he doesn't have a lot of vowels in his name, and they're like, okay, that's our
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, this is one opinion I have, and I know you'll agree with this because of your opinions on everything else, but the NBA draft is a million times better than the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah. I
And,
think
I
the
mean-
NBA is a million times better than the NFL in a lot of things.
I get it that it kind of can be because there's only 15 players on the entire roster and only 5 on the court at one time, but it's 2 rounds. That's it. There's 60 picks, and then it's over.
Also, the first round they only get 5 minutes on the
They
clock.
get 5 minutes in
And
the
the
first
second
round
round.
because they know who they want.
In the second round's 2. And,
And-
the NBA handles it fine, so I don't know why the NFL couldn't.
Yeah, and I mean after about the first 10 picks in the NBA, you're getting guys that may or may not be worth the crap anyway.
Hmm.
Like you're getting rotational players after that anyway, so you don't need more than 5 minutes. Yeah, the whole NBA draft takes what, like 4 hours?
No, it's not.
Not even that. I mean,
No, it starts at 8, and I think it's usually over at like 11, 11:30.
Yeah.
Like around the same time that the first
the
round
first
of the NFL
round
draft
of the
is over,
NFL draft, the whole NBA draft is done.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Yeah, and it's just nice because like it just kind of moves because like we watch this for entertainment value for the picks to get announced and to see where people are going and stuff. Like the in between stuff is fine. Now speaking of Mecklenburg, the in between stuff is fine where they break down the picks and talk about the fit and stuff. But that's just kind of filler for the actual like why we watch. And so the fact that the NBA goes from pick to pick to pick quicker really
Yeah.
helps the entertainment value because that's why we watch. Like we wouldn't watch this if they weren't announcing picks. Like if they just went like, all right, this is our opinion of Kyler Murray. All right, next this is our opinion of Nick Bosa. Like nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
They want to know who's going where. We're getting to the part of the draft where I've never even heard these names before.
Starting tomorrow, I'm not going to know any of these people.
Yeah, you're better than me. This is the least I've ever prepared for the NFL draft, and I think it's because the positions that the Panthers need are not ones that I know how to like.
Yeah, I can't give you
Evaluate.
breakdowns or film breakdowns or anything about offensive or defensive linemen. I just
Yeah.
can't do it. I never played football. I don't know. I mean, I can be like Stugotz and like talking about the NCAA tournament. I can just say shit like I like his kick slide, or you know, I like he's got dog in him or stuff like that. But that's about all I can give you.
Yeah,
And, you know, I'm not going to pretend that I know. That's
No,
why I have Billy.
like running backs and like the skill positions are easier just because they're like in your face, and
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to like. There's not as much. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to it, but it's easier to pick up on the nuance. Just like, does this like how like for a wide receiver, like last year when we obviously were looking at wide receivers, it's just like let's see how like fluid this guy looks as an athlete. Let's see how much he can create separation based on his competition level and how natural does he look catching the ball. Like that's easier for a casual evaluator to pick up on than like how is this guy's like how does his pass set, how is his kick slide, how is this guy's bend around the edge. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What is bend? Like, I don't know.
Well, they were saying that about Brian Burns. He has great bend, and I was like, oh well, I missed that.
Okay,
I wouldn't have thought
yeah.
that about a Brian Burns.
Yeah, cool. How many
Um,
sacks did he have?
Yeah.
That's what I care about. I mean,
Well, I even watch his highlights, and there's like, because I always watch highlights of players after we pick them, and just for like I can't watch highlights of Greg Little. And
Yeah.
like, look at how well.
look how well
he
he stood
stonewalled
in that
this-
guy's way. Yeah.
Look at how long it took for him to get beat on that pass play. The guy took 5 seconds before he eventually hit the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, but, and that's what I think for like one makes basketball easier, and two, like you were saying, like I played basketball. Like I was playing basketball tonight, unfortunately, and so it's like easier for me to like get into the whole draft thing because I could watch players and actually know what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
that's
and-
like for Eric
Yeah.
and linemen and stuff like that.
Yeah. Daniel said at least the NFL draft, it isn't like the Major League Baseball draft. Oh my God, that is so true.
What I don't pay any attention to baseball.
It's like 40 rounds.
I know that it's
And like by the time it's over, they're legitimately drafting like the general manager's grandson and shit. Like
Mhm.
because there's only so many baseball players. And it's not on TV, or if it is, it's on MLB Network at like 2:00 in the afternoon on Tuesday. Because
yeah.
nobody watches it. Nobody cares. The number one pick is always a high school pitcher or a shortstop or something like that. And it takes, I don't know how long it takes, but it's endless, it seems.
Well, I know it's it's a joke because like Russell Wilson got drafted even though he was clearly not going to play baseball,
Yeah,
And
you can get drafted and then not sign with a team and go to college or go to the NFL. Or if you go to college, then you can get drafted again the next year by a completely different team. And
also,
it happens all the time.
like Shaq Thompson got drafted. He hadn't played baseball since like middle school.
Yeah.
And then struck out 39 times in 42 at bats or whatever it was.
Yeah, he was bad at baseball. That's another episode of That Was Bad.
that was such
Shaq
a shock
Thompson's
when I was like, wait,
baseball career.
Shaq Thompson played minor league baseball?
That
I
would be
looked
a
up his
good one.
stats, and I was like, what? How did that happen? I need to find that.
Yeah, see, the Bengals just drafted a guy from North Carolina State, and I have no idea who it is. And he went to North Carolina State.
Who was his name?
Jermaine Pratt,
Yeah.
linebacker. Don't know anything about him.
Especially being a lot, but we should be touching up on our linebackers because we know we're
gonna draft. We're gonna draft one tomorrow. Yeah,
if not tonight.
If not tonight, yeah, we might take one at 100 if we don't take Will Grier.
I forgot about Will Grier. I really I'm rooting for Will Grier at this point.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what it is. I think like I watch sports for entertainment, and I don't get like beat up over like Billy was very upset if you didn't notice about the draft pick thing, and it's like okay, it's like there's one of those things like, I wouldn't have done that, but then it's just kind of like whatever, like it doesn't affect the entertainment value of the team in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh, we're switching channels. What is going on? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just got this curveball thrown at me that they're switching channels.
For those of us who are still here and are Hurricanes fans, the Hurricanes won in overtime 1-0.
Oh man, overtime specialist.
Yes.
But look, it's Charles Tillman, former Panther great. Panthers.
Current FBI agent.
Olin Kreutz looks like everybody's dad.
He does. He looks like they just pulled him from the hotel lounge.
I know, with this Hawaiian shirt
Yeah.
and receding hairline. See you, Jordan Howard. So I watch them for entertainment. And part of that comes from when teams do stuff that will make people mad. Especially like if like the Panthers picked like a quarterback in the first round, that would annoy me because it would actively hurt the team's chances by a great deal.
And it's a stupid decision.
And picking a quarterback like after the first round, like even the second round would have been great, but like from here on, even if it's not the best idea, like I know people will freak out about it, and I know I'll enjoy the hot takes that people say, and not everybody obviously, but like I know there's going to be some people that lose their minds.
Yeah.
And I will.
Yeah. Like y'all have no idea how bad I want to take Will Grier tonight, so I can troll the ever-loving shit out of you about it, because y'all are going to get so mad, and it's going to be so funny.
Yeah, and again, it's not everybody, and being mad about it isn't the problem. Where you can be like I said, like you'd be like that was a dumb pick. It's the people who say like I'm going to quit this team forever until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
we
see
took
y'all
this
tomorrow
in the fourth round, or in 30 minutes when I think about it and realize this is actually just a sport and I don't really care that much.
Exactly.
So that's I think it'll be Will Grier. Plus, it wouldn't hurt to have a good backup quarterback.
No, my thing is Kyle Allen is not the answer for backup quarterback. And Cam, we don't know how healthy he is. So if Cam gets hurt, we might as well just tank, because if we have to rely on Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke to play more than one game, we're screwed. So why not get a guy like Will Grier, who, if Cam does get hurt, at least we have a chance to be presentable.
Yeah. And Will Grier is very presentable.
Will Grier is very presentable.
By female associates.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face facts and be real. Cam Newton in 2 years is going to be 31. with a surgically repaired shoulder and is going to cost $30 million a year minimum. We might not be willing to pay him that.
If his injury doesn't keep going,
Yeah. I mean, if he in the next 2 years, if he's fully 100% healthy and stays that way, no problem with it. They'll do it.
yeah,
But if there are still question marks around his shoulder, they're not going to give him that kind of money. They'll just go with a backup quarterback, or they'll draft one. And I mean, it's just the way the business works. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. Don't hate me and say, well,
uh oh, it's just me. This is what happens when we have 2.5 hour broadcast. It's just technical difficulties out the wazoo. Brad had internet problems. My computer died, and it's just it's. We were not meant to broadcast for this long. Thank you, Daniel Camp, for staying with us. And
okay, I'm back. I accidentally exited out of my browser.
oh, yeah, Daniel and I were very worried about you.
Yeah. I was in the middle of talking about Cam too. And I accidentally hit I was like, and as soon as I moved my hand, I was like, oh shit.
That's what happened to me when I was. You're like, can you get that podcast to me in like 15, 20 minutes? I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I have the audio is uploading, and I'm like, maybe got one sentence left to type on the description, and like they're probably gonna be finished at the same time, and it's gonna be ready to go. And then, like, my girlfriend was sitting next to me, and she reached across, like she went to reach over, and I think she bumped the screen right on the back button, and all of it just disappeared. I was like, oh my god. And there's nothing in the world that's worse than doing something and having it erased and having to immediately do the exact same thing again.
Yeah.
It's
awful.
It's so bad. But Jay Sternberg. Oh, that's the. See, I feel like that's a name that I've heard drafted 7 years in a row now at tight end.
Yeah.
Just every year there's a tight end named Jay Sternberger drafted. You know, we would have almost made it to the Panthers' second pick if we didn't. You know.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have traded it.
The Patriots have it now. We know what happened the last time the Patriots.
You want to stay until that pick to see who we could have had.
Yeah, it's fine. You remember what happened the last time the Patriots and the Panthers ended up pick swaps?
Yeah,
we
got pick swaps with the Patriots. You lose every time.
We got fleeced because they got Coney Ely from us, and we only moved up 8 spots.
Yeah,
they ate our lunch until Coney Ely turned out to be really bad, and then we basically moved up 8 spots for nothing. So
yeah.
Bill Belichick's not. It's the fact that Bill Belichick, who's like one of the few not idiots that runs an NFL team, like isn't good at drafting, should tell everybody all they need to know about, you know, the merits of like how much you should trust your own evaluations.
Yeah, that's the thing about Bill Belichick that a lot of people don't understand. He's not this big wig genius, smart guy that has it all figured out. He's just not an idiot.
Real quick,
we've talked about that plenty of times. He's not as dumb as everybody else.
Another wild bottom line. For Washington, notable 2018 injuries: quarterback Alex Smith, quarterback Colt McCoy, both suffered broken fibulas.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds?
Yeah, that's cursed.
And neither of them even played with Derrick Rose.
It's because they won't change their name.
Oh, yeah. It's like having a building built on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah, it's because they won't change their name.
I love that theory. Speaking of the thing I just alluded to, have you seen the Derrick Rose curse?
No.
Derrick Rose was on the court for Paul George's broken leg, Gordon Hayward's broken leg, and Karis LeVert, I think, his dislocated foot.
Dang.
Like, he was on the court for all of those like significant, disgusting, like foot pointing in the wrong direction injuries. Derrick Rose was on the court for all 3 of them.
That's crazy.
I think the spell was broken when Yusuf Nurkic broke his leg, though. So, because I don't think that was against the Timberwolves. If it was, though, I'm looking it up right now, and if it was against the Timberwolves, I'm gonna lose my damn mind. No, it was against the Nets. But yeah, Derrick Rose, who's like notorious for like the leg injuries and talking about wanting to walk at his kid's graduation, and
Mhm.
it's just breaking everybody's legs that plays
Killing
against him.
everybody. Wow.
Yeah. Really selfish of him if you think about it.
I honestly don't know how these national media people that have to cover this do this. I mean, I'm already tapped out, and we're just now to the point where we would be picking
The second out of three
the
times.
second out of 3 times. And we've literally been doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they have to do all like the show prep and stuff because they're not like us and they're professional and they have to like.
Yeah, they have production meetings. Like they've probably been doing this since like 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, and they have to like stay on topic. Like they can't start talking about like Magic Johnson's tweets and what condiments
Yeah.
we eat like tater tots with and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have to stay on topic.
Hey, it's Hall of Famer Jared Green's dad,
All right.
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
That sounds like a stay-at-home mom's name.
Yes, it does.
Whenever I make jokes like that, I always have to like run it through 4 filters. Like this isn't going to be offensive on like a
Yeah.
public podcast. Let's go through and make sure there's nothing that could be construed as discriminatory.
Whenever we launch this, that was bad. We have to do and I know you won't really know anything about it, but we have to dedicate an episode to the Atlanta Braves bullpen.
Right now, like their current bullpen.
Well, their current bullpen and their bullpen for the last couple of years, but yeah.
I'm sure I could research enough. Like I know enough. Like I know baseball. Like
Yeah,
I
okay.
grew up playing it, and I used to watch it. I just no longer have the attention span for it because of I'm a millennial, and
Yeah.
I don't know,
course.
the internet and social media are ruining the world. Oh, he's a first responder. Respect.
Absolutely.
I think. No. Cat's chewing on the electric cord for the fish tank.
Is it a white cord?
No, it's black.
Because I know our cats, they only like to chew on white cords.
That's some.
Oh my God. The Patriots took Chase Vinovich at 77.
What's that? What's the? Oh my God! Is that a
The defensive end from
I know who he
Michigan.
is, yeah.
We could have taken him at 77 if we didn't trade it.
Yeah, no, I saw some people wanted him for us.
Wow. That makes it even worse.
Clay Matthews. Wow. Talk about some locks.
Wow. Not to say that we would have drafted him because, we might not have, but
Who else is still available?
I honestly have no idea.
Oh, no, Kuiper. Savvy comparison with Rob Ninkovich. I think it was facetious, but still.
Yeah.
My headphones are on, so I can't hear everything they're saying. But best available. Speaking of weird eating habits, apparently Mel Kiper eats like several pumpkin pies per week.
All year round?
Mm-hmm. Like he eats a slice for breakfast and eats a slice as like a night and evening snack.
That's really weird.
If you've seen the guy,
I get it. Yeah, I mean, he's a vampire. Like, I get it during the month of October. Like, it makes sense. But all the time? That's weird.
Let's see. Best available, Ryan Finley. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Somebody asked about the safety from Florida with our next pick. I'm assuming was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson they were talking about.
Probably.
I don't
He's
know
still
enough.
there.
He is. Good. Taking him. Let's see. There's a lot of wide receivers on this list. O'Shane Zimenez. That's
I
a
love
great
that name. It's a
Nate
great
Davis,
name.
UNC Charlotte. Just saying.
He'll be a good pick tomorrow.
Always like to see 49ers do well since we get like one every other year.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 Old Dominion players on this list. What is this? Amani Hooker. I'm getting pretty far down on the list, but that doesn't really matter at this point in the draft.
Okay. Well, now that we've seen what we could have had, and I'm upset about it, I think it's time to call it a
Will
day.
Greer, the 50th best player
Will
currently available.
Greer, the 50th best player currently available.
And there's only 21 picks before ours, so yeah.
21 more picks to go. So
Ron and Marty are sweating it out.
stay tuned to CSR tonight. We will have the number 100 pick announcement whenever it's made. And tomorrow we will have the same thing we've had today. We'll have threads, we'll have announcements, we'll have trades if there are any, we'll have a live show probably. So thank you to all of you who hung out with us, and thank you for being who you are.
I'm about to outro because I'm going to make the beginning of this a podcast. So I'm going to say the outro of the podcast. And
Okay.
then so that's where we're getting the podcast. If you are a psycho and really like listening to us talk for hours on end, you can go to the YouTube page and listen to the rest of it there. I'll post the link to the YouTube page on the Cat Scratcher Eater post or in the description of this video, so you can find it there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tolerating us for all this time, and we'll be back with another episode for day 3. See you guys later.
Later, guys.
And yes, all of you here in the chat now. See you guys later. You wild people.
Yes.